Hi, hello, everybody. Welcome to Directly to You. It's the 140th episode of Directly to You. What is Directly to You? It's our podcast. Who are we? fanatixfour, and we're joined by Xeon from Nintendo Life.
Hang on. You just said 140th, and
I did it. Oh no! It's all your fault, Parker. It's all your fault, dude.
Here, I'll step in real fast to say last week we didn't have an episode. We're very sorry about that. We started to try to record them. We got about 15-20 minutes in. I was at my in-laws. Their internet is real garbage. And so it went fine up until it started to not go fine, and we stopped recording. And so we didn't have it. That's the end of that. But that was 139. I mislabeled this one 140. AJ fixed it and was like, Parker, you're dumb for calling this 140. And then he made the mistake.
And then the thing that always happens whenever I see, and that's why you messed it up. That's why you messed it up. Because every time I see the number, I'm like, okay, that's the episode. And I'm like, wait, that's not right. And then I'll think to myself, that's not right. But the first thing I'll second guess because I'm like, but the last thing was that. So that has to be the right thing. You know,
well, it was 139, but now it's 140.
Exactly. Now it's
like 139 and 3/4. You just go straight through a post.
In our universe, it's 140 because we technically recorded 139.
That's true.
But it just died in 20 minutes or whatever. But anyway,
139 over 2 days. Just slap some weird Kingdom Hearts number on
It's a Square Enix game now. But you can support this show by going to youtube.com/fanatixfour or twitch.tv/fanatixfour and becoming a member or subscriber, respectively. You can become a subscriber for free on twitch.tv by linking your Twitch account with your Amazon account to get Prime Gaming. Give us a free subscription and have Jeff Bezos give us money at no cost to you. And you get access to our supporters only Discord. I never say that one first, but you get it. You get it. It's there. Loyalty badges, emotes, gaming time with us, free Switch keys from time to time. It's a good old fun time. Remember that Discord I mentioned? You can also join it for free. Click in the link in the description. Say hi to Duncan. I'm being nice to Duncan again. Momentarily until he crosses me one more time, and then it's it for that man. Never get another mention.
Well, I've got bad news for you. There's a question from him later that I think might.
He's going to burn the bridge again.
But there we go. There it is.
There's a long storied rivalry between me and one of our supporters, Duncan.
And we've got Xeon on here from Nintendo Life. Xeon, you want to say?
Hey. Words. It's me, Xeon from Hello there.
Listen to those words. They're so well done.
I don't think I've ever said that before.
How'd you not say that? I was going to say, how'd you not say that first? How's that not the first?
Because I can't. I'm not Alex. I can't say it.
It's
a legal obligation.
You're going to get it. Oh, no.
Not true. Not true.
Wait, how are you not allowed to say it, but John's allowed to say it? That's
well, it's not that I'm not allowed. It's probably just that. It's like an unspoken law.
Oh, okay.
You know, everybody has those, right? And no, I've just chosen. I've always felt that it'd be weird if I said it, so I was like, well, I'm just never.
You tried it out. Is it weird? You tried it out now.
It was so quick.
Test run.
Yeah. Hello there, lovely people.
Look at that. That's so good. I do remember when I started doing fanatixfour videos and like the tagline right before the video or right before the like intro bit is AJ would always say, let's talk about it. And I was like,
see, but that's the thing. It never was that until you made it that. I
realized that retrospectively.
Yeah, I would just say it sometimes because it just made sense then. But then you just made it a thing. And I was like, okay, I guess it's a thing now.
Yep. You're welcome.
I've noticed, I mean, like that is like a nice thing that you guys share and like it's part of the channel. And I don't know, and maybe I could do it. Maybe it's too late in the game now. I don't know. But
you got to do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Alex thing.
You have some fun comments on the video. The first video that you do, like, don't tell Alex, just do it, and then like,
and like, don't even like make it a thing, you know, like don't like make it like it's a parody of him. Like, just say it. And then see if people will catch on.
Like, I mean, I'll see like in the comments, people will be like, oh, no, hello there, lovely people today. And I'm like,
because that's not me.
It's respect. It's out of respect. It's not that you're not lovely. Is that what you think?
Or is it? Some of them aren't. You gotta be real. Some of them, you got some Dunkins.
So what's on the inside? Duncan, you're lovely to me. Hey, you guys playing any games?
Yes.
I know the answer to that, but I had to say it like that because that's how you transition in these kinds of things.
Oh, this just in. Xeon never played a single game before.
Ooh, wow.
Breaking news.
I'm going to have to listen to you guys talk the whole time. That's it.
Yep.
It's gonna be great though.
You can break
course.
apart our vicious arguments that we always
Yeah, I can ask you guys why. Yeah, I could just be the moderator during this whole discussion.
Thank you so much. It's called a marriage counselor, but that's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, here I'll start saying I know at least AJ and I have both played Phogs. You've got a little Phog there. And
I
I'm wearing
do.
a shirt
I
of
do.
it.
I put it here
So we're
because
gonna-
people were like, "Oh, blue," the freaking blue logo. So I was like, "Okay, I'll put Fog here." Now it's sponsored by Phogs. It's not. Look at that. But Jack, hey man.
But yeah,
What's
AJ,
up?
what do you think? Say some words
About Phogs?
Yeah.
It's fun. I had a lot of fun. We streamed it yesterday. Me and Bob from the Wolf Den, our friend.
Mhm.
We played it, and I thought that we were going to be screaming at each other the entire time, but we were not. It was just like, for whatever reason, we just had the same brain. It was very rare for us to be like, no, this way. It was like we just knew, like we were just going. But we murdered Humpty Dumpty several times because there's just freaking Humpty Dumpties hanging all over the place. And
What world is that one in?
It's like the freaking beach, like boardwalk sort of situation.
Oh, is it the play world or whatever?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like an arcade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of Humpty Dumpties, and like a lot of them are in range to like just drag off of the cliff. So we made it our mission to try to drag all of them that it's possible to drag off the cliff.
Nice.
3 of them survived, I think. Three. And we were very
Ashley
sad.
and I, so yeah, my wife Ashley and I played a little bit, and then I played some more by myself. Oh yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know what Phogs is, it's pretty much, if you know the show Cat Dog from Nickelodeon, I don't need to say that was from Nickelodeon, but the show Cat Dog, it's like that, but it's 2 dogs, so double dogs. And either you control each of them with 1 joystick each, or you and somebody else each control a head, and then you got to do some 3D puzzle platforming kind of things. Less platformy in the sense that there's not a whole lot of jumping or anything, but it's more
like platforming and like the
spirit of it,
like the Snake Pass,
right,
sense or whatever.
Yes.
Like that's all classified, all classified as platforming for whatever.
To me,
reason.
What's weird about Snake Pass is I feel like that game to me is almost more emblematic of 2017 than like Xenoblade was of that year. No, I never even played Snake Pass, but like just the fact I just remember like really early on there being no games at all, and it was like Breath of the Wild. I was only playing that, and Kamiko and Snake Pass was there, and then just something about that gives me so much nostalgia for 2017, even though I didn't play it myself.
It's like the freaking when they do the 2017, like remember the 90s crap.
Yeah,
the Snake Pass would be one of the highlights for you.
Snake Pass would be one of those. Yeah, just because of what it symbolizes more than what it actually is.
I thought you were saying like
game too.
I thought you were saying like it was like another Breath of the Wild of the like it was really a shining moment in gaming history. I was like, okay,
it was kind of like supposed to be this cool new platformer from the people that made the Sonic racing games. I think Sumo Digital.
Oh, yeah.
And so I bought it like day one because I think David Wise, the Donkey Kong country composer, did the soundtrack too.
Mm-hmm.
So it had like a really cool team behind it, and the characters were really cute, and controlling it was very like lifelike in the way that like you controlled like a snake, and you had to move the analog stick left and right to like move forward, and there was a button to control like your grip, like the tension of the snake, but it's so hard. First world. And I have a buddy, the bassist in my band. He played it once and he was like, "This game sucks, man. Snake Pass." And he always likes to bring that up.
Not how many videos is titled that? How many videos has that like title or that's like the strap? You know how IGN does like the strap line?
Oh yeah.
Like this is a Snake Pass.
So it's not a bad game. So it's like it'd be hard to like always use that, I think, with Snake Pass, but he just always like likes to get under my skin, and like he just always drills it in whenever I bring up Snake Pass, which is not often, but it happens more than you think.
It's funny too with games like that are challenging, where like I feel like I end up hearing more about like Baba Is You is one that comes to mind, where I heard a ton of people talk about how great it was, but then also in the same breath they'd be like, but I could never get past halfway through it or something like that because it was so challenging. And like I wonder if maybe that kind of game development mentality is to the detriment of the games in some way, where like maybe it's better to have it like half of the game be post game, I guess is what I'm saying.
I
Where,
think
like,
it depends on the game.
oh yeah,
Because like
obviously.
Dark Souls, obviously, like that's hard, and it's like
Yeah.
the good thing about it that it's hard for a lot of people. Where it's like
Yeah.
I beat that game, I'm great, but like how many people are really gonna like pat you on the back for beating Snake Pass? You know, like
Yeah.
Well, maybe more people would actually give Snake Pass a chance. Then they'd understand that it's the Dark Souls of.
yeah.
I can't actually say that.
And see, that's the thing. They need a texture pack. It needs to actually look like a real snake, and then they're like, okay, yeah, I can take this game seriously and understand that it's hard. Like,
Why does it make me think of that Black Tiger or Black Panther game or something? I don't know. There was some game that was. Yes, I think so. It was like
Tiger game. It's like so bad.
Yeah, that's makes me think of that. So there's that. But yeah, Phogs. It's
Yes,
a great
Phogs.
time. It's fun to play multiplayer. I think I may be doing a video some point soon about like some co-op games or something like that, and I will talk more about it in that as well. If so,
I will literally never play that game single player.
It's honestly it works pretty well single player as well.
Just because of how Bob talked about it, where he was like, it broke his brain, and I was like, I don't want to deal with that. I have so much fun playing this game multiplayer that it's like it's just a multiplayer game for me.
Yeah. I will say single player,
single player mode.
The only thing with single player is it is sometimes hard to keep track of just which head is which. Like if I'm in the process of moving somewhere or in the process of doing an action, it's pretty easy. Like you know, like at some point in the sleep world, one head has to grab the shiny ball thing. There's a name for it, and you've got one right behind you, AJ. But
the blorb.
The blorb, yeah, the little white thing in the smiley face in AJ's background. You grab one of those with one head, and then the other one shines a light, and that does some puzzly things. Once you're doing it, it's fine. But like getting the right head to like actually bite down on it and stuff like that, I just always mix up which one's which for the like 5 seconds, and then I get it.
Oh, that's the most important thing about this game. You can be pet.
It's
you are the dog, and you can be pet.
You can't pet the dog because you're the dog, but other people can pet you.
So you
It's
pet
true.
your when you say other people, like there's
Well,
people,
there's
in the
like
games,
freaking like there's like this giant balloon man, and like you could walk up to him and bark at him, and then like eventually he's like, okay, I'll pet you.
Good, because at first I thought you meant like you can pet yourself, like the other dog head can pet the other dog, and I was like, that's
not the same. Like petting yourself is not the same.
but when you're a dog and you're being pet, you're still being pet, right? So that's
true.
It's true.
But yeah, fun game. It's a good time. So yeah, thanks CoatSync and whatnot. Everybody go play it.
I'm gonna wait for Ian or E or whoever's gonna edit that. You know, Bob does like the highlight things for his streams, and I'm gonna wait for that, and then you'll see all the moments.
True.
Follow me on Twitter for that video.
And then otherwise, I know we're playing at least one other game, which is Immortals Fenyx Rising, which we'll talk about last of the games we're playing. Anything else you guys are playing before we get to that one?
I'm freaking Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, which I just randomly bought. Because I was like I wanted to play it eventually because I only want to play it for the lore. I don't care about Warriors games at all, even a little bit. Same. But yeah, I was like, so I was like dragging my feet on that game because it's like, yeah, I want to know what happens, but I don't want to play it. Like I want to, like, you know what I mean, dude? So I just picked it up and I was like, I'm not doing anything. My video's done. You know, I could play through this or play it. I didn't play through it yet. And then I played like who did I do first? I did Urbosa's thing first, and then I did the Rito one. And then
Rivali.
Yeah,
that one surprised me a little bit.
I hate him so much.
I don't know how. I don't know if it's spoilers or whatever, but just like the context of like how the story started out in that level when you first meet him, I thought it was going to be like you just pop up and Rivali's like, "Hey, my old friends, let's go do some things together or whatever."
And I'm like, kill this man.
Yeah,
Get him out of here.
Probably you should kill lots and lots of Rito. And I was like, really? No, that's.
But they do that on freaking Urbosa's one too, where they're trying to get you too. And like Zelda's like, yo, she's cool, man. She's my homie. And then you go in there and they're like trying to end your life.
He's murderer though.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Freaking baby.
Maybe they're all just sleeping.
Side on. I was like, yo, he's a babby dude. Like he's so small.
He's very little. Are you enjoying it though?
Some of the babies I have issues with, and then Baby Sidon came out, and I was like, never mind.
Can't be mad at the babies anymore. Can't be mad. But no, very no. I don't like what I figured I wasn't gonna like, so I'm not surprised. But the lore and the story is cool, so whatever.
Nice.
Because like I don't like specifically I did the Rito one, and I mean it happens other times too, where it's like finding where you need to go, even though the game tells you where to go, is not as straightforward as the game leads you to think it is. It's like go in this area, and then you go in that area, and then it's like, oh, but it's elevation, and then I'm not going to tell you how to get up there on the map. Why would I do that? So it's just like wandering around. Like most of the time, like every mission is probably like 15 minutes plus, if not significantly more than that. And most of that time is me trying to figure out exactly where the waypoint is telling me that I really need to go. And I hate that.
And it's worse too when like you run, like you said, like you run in a direction that you think is the right path, and then you get there and there's like a giant wall, and you look up and there's a cliff that you have to get up onto, but you have to get up there from the other side.
Exactly. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Which like that stuff, so when I play by myself, I don't care about that as much, but definitely like, because I've played co-op with my wife a decent amount, and she really enjoys it. Like, I'm glad that she's enjoying it, because like, I told her too, it's kind of like, you know, the 3 times that you've played Rocket League, how you don't care about scoring goals at all. You just want to ram into the other cars and destroy them. This is kind of that. Like, it doesn't, just don't even worry about where you're going. Follow me for a bit, hit a bunch of guys. That's it. But then like the times, if it ever gets confusing where we're going and it breaks up that flow of like, I just get to punch a bunch of guys a ton, then like her interest kind of wanes for a minute while that happens, and then it comes back. So like, yeah, definitely those levels where that kind of thing happens. I'm fine with single player wise. Like I'm like, yeah, I'll find it eventually. But when we're playing co-op, it's less.
I am very not that type of person. If I got to do it eventually, I don't want to do it at all. Like, let me do it now.
Yeah.
Like,
but I'm still enjoying it. I haven't played it a ton this week just because of Immortals Fenyx Rising and stuff.
oh, that's the other thing that's weird about this game. I mean, most Warriors games are like that, but there's so many people in the game that are like, you can destroy everybody, but you don't really have to fight that many people. Like, you only have to fight when it's specifically at the like markers, and then it's like kill everybody here, but all the other people along the way, like you can engage with them or not, they're not going to do anything to you. Like so most of my time is running away from everybody and then being like, oh, the marker tells me I have to kill you, so you guys gotta, I'm sorry. Like,
The completionist in me, like at first was like, I'm gonna kill everybody, and then I was like, I don't have time for this. I can't.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much me too. But it's fun. All right, and then yeah, anything else before Immortals Fenyx Rising?
nah,
I played Donut County like last week, I think, and I mean it's super short, very very short. And I've started it like twice, and then and it's weird for me to actually say that because it's like a 2 or 3 hour game.
I get that though. Sometimes the
2
length
times
of the
before.
game impacts the length that the game is going to be impacts how long it feels like it takes in the meantime or something like that. Where like I know that if I'm playing, you know, like Immortals Fenyx Rising, whatever, I've played 15 hours of it so far, and that feels like I've done a little bit, you know, whereas like I know Astral Chain is about a 15-hour game, and I played like 6 or 7 hours of it. I'm like, man, I've played this game so long, and it's like I don't know what the disconnect is there, but so I get that.
I mean, it's a
But
percentage thing. It's a percentage thing. It's like with
It feels like
Astral
you
Chain,
can just
play,
like throw away time at games too sometimes, but you're right, the percentage,
So yeah, tell us more about Donut County.
So it's fun. It's a real little bite-sized, if you will, because of donuts. Bite-sized. You play as this terrible raccoon that works for a donut shop, I guess.
He works for a donut.
And basically he I don't want to like spoil things because it's so short that, you know, the story is very relevant to the game. But you basically get these holes in each level that you try to like move the hole around on the level and pick up different objects. It's kind of like a reverse Katamari almost, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Where you're trying to get the hole as big as possible by consuming more objects, and eventually you just consume everything in the area, and you move on to the next level and do that and so forth. But the dialogue is really funny in between, and all the characters are like, they're just written really well and they're really funny, and it's a cute little game. and I think it's developed by like 1 or 2 people as well. Like it's a pretty ambitious title for having such a small team. I think it came out like 2 years ago, maybe. But yeah, so I played that. And so the reason I started it twice, by the way, was because I started it on an airplane once and didn't finish it. But I was like, I'm going to beat this on the plane. And then I just never went back. And then I played it at Christmas last year with one of our relatives, and she didn't beat it. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to start where you left off. And yeah, now it's finally done. Gosh, so dumb. So dumb. And then I played Cave Story like 2 weeks ago, and I decided to do like the perfect route where like you get the best ending, but it turns out that route, are you aware? It's like so hard. Like
okay.
So I gave up. I'm like, that's done for now.
That's
and I can't.
It's like a roguelike or roguelite or something, right?
So it's I'm always like, sometimes I forget like what the definitions of like a roguelike and a roguelite are, but it's basically a Metroidvania with like some different choices where like if you choose to take this weapon, you might get a different weapon later on, or if you choose to kill this person or save this person, you might finally be able to see the perfect ending at the end of the game, or you might just get a completely different route. And that was another game that was developed by one person, and I played it on 3DS way back in the day. And I remember I was at GameStop. I was like on break, and I was like, I finally beat Cave Story, but the ending was garbage. And I eventually learned, well, there's multiple endings. So I was like, all right, I'm finally gonna go back and do this. And yeah, picking the best route was not the best decision, because you can't just like go back and decide to take that other route. Like I'm just stuck where I am. Like I either go forward or I restart, and I'm not doing that right now.
I guess with that kind of thing, there's no is there like a middle route that's like pretty good but not the best one kind
that's
of
what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like there's a route that takes you to like a really hard cave, or like a really incredibly difficult cave that like you want to rip your hair out and scream until you're bleeding, and I don't know why you're bleeding, but you just are.
That's what you ripped out way more than hair.
Yeah.
And I only spent a night with it. And John from like, who works with us now from Nintendo Life, he was like, you got this. You can definitely do it. And I was like, I want to believe that. I want to, but right now I don't have the mental capacity.
You're not telling me what I want to hear right now. Comfort me.
It's like when you're having a down day and someone's just like, no, get back on it, man. You got this. And you're just like, I can't.
What you speak is impossible. Yeah, no, it's games with multiple endings are interesting because like that's in some of them it's really obvious that there's multiple endings. Like if you finish Undertale, it's pretty obvious like, oh, you could have played it differently and it would turn out differently. Cool. But there's other like I didn't realize
Undertale for me, dude. I can't
so spoiled. Man, you don't even know. I told you exactly what all the things mean and everything. No, but like Hollow Knight has multiple endings, but I don't think I would have realized that when I played it. Like I beat it and I was like, okay, that was a kind of interesting ending. But then like it was a couple months before I found out like, oh, there's other ways that it can end. Or maybe it wasn't a couple months. Maybe I looked it up immediately after. But still, like I think it's when there's multiple endings, it's probably important to like, I don't know, hint at it somehow so that it doesn't leave the person feeling like, well, that game just had a sucky ending. Like, that kind of thing. Yeah. I feel like maybe I was playing something else as well, but I don't remember. But let's get to Immortals Fenyx Rising, talk about it. And then we also, we made a video this week talking about it. And we have some questions or comments from some of you guys that instead of doing that later in the video, we're going to pull it up to now. So first of all, impressions. All of us have videos that were made about it. So those impressions are out there as well. But I don't know, you guys still playing it after the fact or still enjoying it or not enjoying it at all?
I mean, sort of. Not playing it.
Go first.
You can go first.
Who's you? Xeon?
Well, we know your thoughts. You get 12-minute videos on our channel.
There it is.
That's true. But people are different. Maybe people didn't see that.
It's true.
So I got to demo the game through like a streamed PC version on my computer here, and so I played like a high res, or not a high, but it was basically like the best version of the game, but it was a beta, and that was like a month or two ago or something.
Was it through Stadia?
It wasn't. but it might have been using like the same hardware. I don't know. It was through
Gotcha.
Parsec is how I played it through. At least.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
And which I've never used before. And I walked away with it like extremely optimistic. Like I loved the characters and the lore, and the world was so unique. And I mean, I had some like some issues with the platforming here and there, but I felt like that was maybe just like the lag between, the fact that I was streaming the game, and the combat was fun. It was really flashy. And then I also got to a point where they gave me like a ton of buffs, and they just like let me upgrade my character however I wanted, and and I got to use all these cool skills, and it felt amazing. Like it was different than Breath of the Wild in the fact that you had like such a robust move set. And I played it for I think about 3 hours, and I really liked it. I was very optimistic, and this was not the Switch version, and at Nintendo Life, that's what we talk about is Nintendo stuff. So I couldn't judge it on like graphical merits or I guess really pretty much just that. But then I played the actual game, and I personally think it runs really well on Switch. I know like our reviewer like didn't really enjoy it the most, Kate, and I'm not sure what you guys thought about it, but I think it for what it is, and not being like Kate even said in her review, she like Ubisoft is not Nintendo. They don't know the Nintendo architecture like Nintendo does. I still think they came out with a pretty smooth looking product. Like and there's games like Doom. When Doom came out on Switch, I played it over there for the first time, and it was like it ran really well from what I remember at least, but it was like just blurry enough that like I just wasn't interested in continuing. And Immortals doesn't have that feel.
Right.
The one thing though that I do feel now, to like come back to the point where I Ubisoft gave me all those buffs. I'm like about 10 hours I think into Immortals, and my moveset it feels like it's the same as when I started the game. And that kind of sucks because like I don't know. I could just be playing something else right now, and like clearing off tons of games on my backlog. And I want to see more of what Immortals has to offer, but I don't know if I have the time to put into that game.
Yeah.
I am enjoying my time, but it feels like it's going to be more of a time sink than I was expecting, I guess.
I think that's definitely a thing that's interesting with it, is that I can't tell if it's a game loop that should require progression, essentially. Like I kind of feel like, so Breath of the Wild has obviously progression, and like, okay, there's even a comment that's like, hey, don't compare it to Breath of the Wild. But it's like, no, we're going to compare it to Breath of the Wild though.
You're crazy.
It's so hard not to.
Yeah, exactly. But like I think the idea of it having a progression system feels like good when you get each of those things. But at the same time, it does feel like, especially because of the comparisons, that like climbing at the beginning, you can't press another button to like jump up, as you're climbing, but then you can unlock that for like just 2 coins or whatever, which isn't a lot. But those are things where it's like, yeah, it feels good to unlock those, but it kind of makes the feeling before that feel like restricted for a little while. And there's a lot of different areas that feel just a little bit stilted until you get those actual progression things, which again, like you said, like I think once you get all of it, it's like, oh, it feels versatile and good. But I'm not sure that I don't know, like I like the way that, I mean, like in the video I talked about how there's some vaults that you just can't seem to do from the beginning, or you can maybe do the main thing but you can't get the chest or do additional things in the vaults and stuff, and you need to get some upgrades to be able to do those. But like, I really liked that off of the Great Plateau, you can do anything. Like you might have to be really, really careful, or have like maybe just some stronger weapons, because the ones you have are going to break before you can kill. Like I tried to kill a Lionel right off the Great Plateau in a replay of Breath of the Wild, and all of my weapons broke before I was able to, I dodged them every time. I didn't get a single hit, and my weapons were all broken. I was like, I give up. I don't want to do this. This is boring. But yeah, that's it. I think that's definitely a thing that I'm enjoying, unlocking the things, but at the same time, there's a part of in the back of my mind that's like, but why am I unlocking some of these things? Like some of them make sense, but some of them are kind of like, yeah, that just would have been nice to just have from the beginning.
So
yeah,
for me,
like I agree with you too. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I think there's merit to having like, being able to slowly build up your character over time. But it just like, I kind of wish that there was more, just more abilities given to you in the moment. Because especially since I had like that taste of that preview, I knew like all these different abilities that I could be fighting with. And here I was fighting some of the same enemies and bosses and things that I played in my original demo. And I didn't have some of that stuff now. And it felt like I was just at like a disadvantage. And if I wanted to go get these things, I would have had to go do vaults and search around for treasure here and there. And maybe it, maybe it was because maybe I felt a little biased because of that, or maybe, I don't, if I sink time into a game, I really have to love it. And yeah, so yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
But sorry, AJ, go ahead.
No problem. For
How
me,
do you feel?
I didn't really like that stuff about like, because everything about Immortals Fenyx Rising that I didn't like is that it tried to, I don't even want to say gamify, because that makes it sound like it's a good thing, but it's kind of not. It's like you said, it's very arcadey. Like there's stuff like when by default when you fight enemies, damage like hit points pop up every time you hit something. The half of the screen, if not 75% of the screen, is gauges and like icons for like health and item types and all that different stuff.
I really did turn all that stuff off like immediately.
I turned
like,
off everything.
Nah,
but
that's not
like,
fun.
but even once you turn it off, it still
turned off
feels
some,
like
and then
that.
I was like, wait, how do you do what again?
That's true. I was like, I'm gonna turn some things back on until I learn what they are, and then I turn them off. And like, I turned off potions because they're kind of in the way, and like, it's nice to not have them, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I have any health potions left, so let's just find out. But
there's just
I kept
a lot
forgetting that I even have health potions and stamina like potions.
Yeah, same. And like finding health and stuff for me was like, in Breath of the Wild, it made sense because it's like you're in this world and like you get health by eating and getting fruit and all that stuff, and it's all over the place because it's fruit and animals and stuff. But in this, it's like you very specifically had to get like these apples or whatever, or pomegranates. So it's like, okay, I guess so. So I went through like all of Aphrodite stuff with basically no health because I couldn't find any pomegranates. So it was like I was just going through it like that 1 bar health that'll recover and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, I guess so. And it felt like a video game in the worst kind of ways. I think that it does a lot of stuff to make it feel more like a regular video game in the ways that people complain about, like weapon degradation and stuff like that, and more like making you feel like you're progressing through abilities and having you unlock stuff. But there's certain things that feel like they arbitrarily wall those off. Like I shouldn't have to unlock the ability to jump up a hill. If you're able to climb a mountain and you're able to do that thing, it doesn't even make sense in the lore of the world for it's like, oh, you're a more powerful god now, you can leap as you climb, because regular people can do that. So like I get unlocking certain things, like in Breath of the Wild when you unlock Sheikah runes and stuff like that makes sense because Link doesn't just know how to do that walking outside of the freaking cave or whatever, right? It's just like a lot of stuff like that feels like they tried to address complaints about it not feeling, Breath of the Wild specifically, not feeling enough like a regular video game, that they went too hard in that direction and it took away all this special stuff about
I think
Breath of the Wild.
in a lot of ways it just like, I mean, and I like, for everybody listening, I'm still actually quite enjoying the game. Like, video's been done for 3 days and I've still played the game a decent amount, but it definitely feels less immersive than Breath of the Wild. And that's something that I really, really appreciated about that game, was just feeling like, I don't know, there was like surprise around every corner and stuff.
And like the systems and stuff like that, where it's like, oh crap, I have this weapon on my back and there's lightning coming from it. Why is that happening? Get it off of me. Throw it at an enemy and he dies because he gets freaking smited from the sky. It's like that sort of stuff. Like all of that is devoid of any type of, like, it feels very like regular video gamey, but like you can climb everything. It's like they took bits and pieces from Breath of the Wild and just threw it into an Assassin's Creed game, which is fine. I'd prefer that to a regular Assassin's Creed game, but in the context of a game that like kind of changed everything with how people think about open world games, where now everybody wants every game to be like, oh, but Pokemon, what if it was Breath of the Wild, So, it's fine. Like, if I bought it, I wouldn't complain that I bought it. I would still play it, but I feel less compelled to play it after the fact, because playing through it, I didn't enjoy it enough for it to not feel like work, you know? So under the context that I got it, it was work. And now I might play it eventually when I don't have that attachment to it, where it's like, I'm working. But who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah,
it's tough to being the people that have played Breath of the Wild as well, and like, you know, if you haven't, like, if you're only a PlayStation or an Xbox person, or you're PC Master Race or whatever you are, you know, like, then you don't have Breath of the Wild, or you have a modded version of Breath of the Wild in like 4K or what, I don't, that's some crazy stuff. But you know, gosh, I'm losing it. The game is like, it's a different experience for people that have never played Breath of the Wild before, and we all have. So it's like, I've been there, done that. Like,
I think
cool,
that's going to be the biggest thing about
funny,
it too, for sure, because like this is a game that I can see being more tailored for people that are just PlayStation or just Xbox or just PC gamers, because it pays more attention to stuff like, oh, it's 60 FPS and it's 4K, you know, like that sort of thing. And it is more traditional in a lot of those ways. So people don't feel like, oh man, Nintendo's taking away this and adding this, because why? You know, why can't I climb when it's raining? You know, like that sort of stuff. So like for those people, I'm sure that they'll like it a lot. And I'm not necessarily saying that the game's bad. I just know that the things that I liked about Breath of the Wild are missing in this game. The thing that I liked stuff like that in Breath of the Wild, where it's like, oh man, my weapon can break. So now I had to think, how am I going to fight this thing? You know, or it's raining right now, but I got to get up there. How am I going to get up there? You know, like that sort of stuff. I like that. It's cool.
Yep. I'm going to read some of the comments now as we keep talking about it. This one, there was a longer version of this variety of comment, but Classic JRPG said, Breath of the Wild borrowed from Assassin's Creed. Immortals is from Ubisoft, who made Assassin's Creed. So who took from who again? By the way, I love both games. Just tired of hearing the Earth started from Breath of the Wild. So I did respond to this comment as well, just saying like, well, I mean, that's totally, there's some valid stuff there. The reason specifically that we are framing this in the Breath of the Wild context also is because, you know, it's towards a Switch audience. Well, because it feels like a much more direct comparison.
It very much so.
But then also, you know, we're talking to Nintendo Switch audience. So like, that's going to be, even if open world games themselves didn't start from Breath of the Wild, obviously,
but that's the thing that's frustrating.
That was the starting point for a lot of individual people.
People say that, but then they don't zoom out far enough to understand that. It's like, yeah, but Assassin's Creed took from Zelda at one point or another, right? Like Zelda is still the OG here. Like, of course, Zelda's like, okay, it's kind of like more classic musicians that are still making music now, where it's like they may borrow from some of the sounds that are popular now, but they're still like bringing a lot of what they're good at to it and what they influenced in newer people and stuff like that. So it's like, are you really stealing? If you're the originator of all of these things, you just weren't in an era where open world game was a possible thing, you know, like Zelda is one of the original open world games. It's just not capable of being as vast and in 3D and HD and all this stuff until now. So they were able to make the game that they were trying to make on NES, you know?
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
And that is it's a very fair statement as well. Like, because Breath of the Wild really does like capture a lot of that mystery and, you know, I guess basically just that from the original Zelda game, or even just, you know, games like that where like you're dropped into this world, you have no idea what the heck you're doing, but you go have fun.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's true, because Nintendo really hasn't done every other Zelda before is kind of followed, you know, that Ocarina of Time formula. And so now finally they had the balls to do it, I guess. Can I say that? Is that all right?
Yeah,
no,
yeah, for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, I think
they're like, oh, but yeah, what if we made this game now? You know, instead of like making Ocarina of Time now, they're making the original Zelda now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a fair point, the fact that it's things borrowed from it. But like it's even then, like it definitely seems like there's just even more direct comparisons to Breath of the Wild to be made. But even if that weren't the case, I think it still is just like from a Nintendo YouTuber perspective, it just makes sense to talk to people who are more like-minded in terms of like, oh yeah, the first game you played like this was Breath of the Wild. Then there you go. We'll talk about that instead of being like, there were games before, like, they don't really.
I guarantee you that the brand managers for this game were told, find YouTubers that like Breath of the Wild and send them this game.
I mean, honestly, when I emailed Ubisoft, I was like, hey guys, I mean, because I'd only worked with them once before in terms of they gave us Assassin's Creed. And I was like, hey, here's the thing. Our community knows that I love Breath of the Wild and I talk about it all the time. So like, I'm probably going to compare it to that. Hope that's okay. And then they send it. So I was like, okay, obviously they're fine with it. Like, I don't feel bad doing it, but
I'm pretty sure that they even like said as much in the early like when it was Gods and Monsters and stuff, where it's like for fans of Assassin's Creed and Breath of the Wild, you know, it's like,
yep. Next question or comment is from Skitbit Productions, who said, looks good, but I know the game will be cheap in a few months, so I'll wait. Ubisoft games don't really keep their value. Long story short, yeah, probably
he's not wrong.
Mario plus Rabbids was $15 the other day, and like that's not a new thing either.
Edition, yeah, like the gold edition is frequently around that price.
Yeah, it was like $20 for that. The like full edition of Starlink, which I really considered getting, because the full edition digital is like has all of the stuff in it. So like I'd love to have some of the
Star Fox toy. Dude.
No, that's the thing. So, but in any case, it was like $20 for the whole thing, and I was like, oh man, if I didn't have such a backlog, but. All that to say.
That's the problem with the digital era now too, is it's like, okay, you could buy this game brand new, or you can wait and it's going to be on sale for anywhere from 50 to 80% off, 90% off, 95. Like you don't know what the sales are going to be. Like I just bought Abzu the other day on Switch, and I've seen it go on sale before, but I have it on PS4. It's beautiful. I'm going to finish it there someday, but it was $2. So I was like, okay,
what am I going to do?
I
not buy
it. Right. Yeah. And you're right. Ubisoft is definitely that company. Like they throw Rabbids on sale all the time for, like, I see Target has it on sale for $20 all the time. And I think finally physically it was 15. But then I've seen Target will just like, they'll put it back up to 60 or 50 or whatever, and they'll let it sit, and then they'll drop it again.
That's the strat. They're like, all right, we gotta get the hype up a little bit for this game again. So we're gonna drop it down to $15, and everybody's gonna buy it for 15. Like,
they're just learning the eShop bouncy bob strat. That's all.
It's not even just the eShop. Like, I just recently bought. I think I talked about it when I bought the Naruto game, Naruto Shinobi Strikers. I bought that, and I was like, yo, everybody buy this game. It's freaking $15. And I told my friends and I told my brothers to like buy this game. And then some of them were like, okay, yeah, I'll buy it. And then they waited and they had to spend $60 because they didn't get it when it was $15. So it's like, it's that sort of stuff. Like, that is a strat, dude.
Yeah. Oh, it totally is.
People talking about it, and then it's not on sale anymore, and people get hyped. It's like, it's like going to buy like a car that you want. I've never bought like a new car, but like you get all hyped, and then it sells or something, or like a house or whatever, you know. And you're just like, but I need it. I need something. So you pay full price for it anyway.
I was talking. We've talked about it on here with like the Xbox Series S versus X, where like, I'll just get the cheaper one. Oh, you don't have the cheaper one? Well, I was going to get one anyway. I'll just get the expensive one. Or like with the Series 3000 cards or whatever, I have some friends looking for those, and pretty like they were saying same thing, where it's like you'll look for the cheap side, and then that one just, they don't have as much stock of it. So maybe they'll have a more expensive one and you'll get it because like it's only $200 extra. Yeah. So, or don't spend it on that, everybody, and just support fanatixfour. Hey. Next one, 88L said, question for the podcast. I just finished Breath of the Wild yesterday after playing it exclusively for about 2.5 months with a few Mario Kart 8 and Tetris 99 breaks. Is there really any point in playing Immortals Fenyx Rising? Honestly, I'm so Zelda'd up right now that I don't even feel like playing Age of Calamity.
I think it depends on what you like about Breath of the Wild, because like if it's a, I know me, right? When I find a type of game that I like and I'm like, yo, this game's dope, I want more of it, but I don't feel like playing this specifically. Give me more games like it. If you like Breath of the Wild like that, then yeah, you'll probably like Immortals Fenyx Rising. But if you're more like me, where it's like you like Breath of the Wild for more specific things, like I like Zelda, it's fine, but I'm not like trying to play every single Zelda game all the time. I didn't beat Breath of the Wild and say, now I got to replay every Zelda game, you know? I was like, I like Breath of the Wild. That's the one I like. I mean, obviously I like other Zelda games too, but I'm not the type of person that's like looking to like play more games like this any chance I get. But yeah, if you're like, I want a game where I get to climb anything and go anywhere, then yeah, you'll probably like Immortals Fenyx Rising.
And I think that's the thing with it too, is it's not like you guys have said, Immortals isn't a bad game. It's just like if you are not done with Breath of the Wild, or if you know, like I've beaten the game, but I still have like things to go back and do. Like I never did Terrytown, and that's something that just kind of like looms over me. Like
you need to do Terrytown.
But
I mean,
I
you
also
don't. You
like,
can do whatever you want. It's your own life, but like Terrytown was one of my favorite things in that game.
It's like
mostly the music. I assume you know how that all works or whatever, but maybe not.
I don't a ton. I think I might have a house in Terrytown.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but I definitely haven't like recruited all of the brothers or whatever. Like I have a lot to
I'm
do.
gonna just spoil
but
this
I don't
for you
want
because
the
it's
game
not
to be
super
done.
obvious. But like the music in Terrytown, as you recruit more people, it adds more music to the town. It's like really stripped down at the beginning, and it slowly gets filled out every time you add people in, and it's so rewarding to be like, that's the thing. Oh yeah, I don't know, it's great. That is all.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, you know, and it's not that Immortals doesn't have that like love and attention put into it.
Right.
But yeah, like if you're someone who's completely maxed out Breath of the Wild, and people are still finding new things all the time. Like, did you guys see the thing about like how you can feed some of the animals in the game? Like you can feed squirrels, and
it's crazy.
you can feed them. Yeah, like there's always something new to find in that game. But yeah, I mean, if you like Breath of the Wild, you'll probably like Immortals too. But yeah, I think it just depends on someone's whatever's on their plate at the moment, really.
Yeah, right. It sounds like in your specific case, 88L, that like if you're done with Breath of the Wild and tired of it at this point, probably just wait for a while until you're like, man, I wish I had something like Breath of the Wild to play, and then yeah, probably at that point. But it sounds like probably right now.
But hear me out. At that point, Breath of the Wild 2 will probably be out. So
that's true. And man, when we were just saying like
$20.
That's
true. You know what? Then buy Breath of the Wild 2 and also Immortals.
I mean, and nostalgia culture goes so fast now. Like, I'll get nostalgic for things like 2 weeks later. So you never know how soon it's going to be that you'll want to play something like it. I am, as we were saying that, like, I wonder with Breath of the Wild 2, it's been so long that they've worked on it now that, like, I assume they're building a decent amount of more systems into it, like the ones we talked about with like the feeding the squirrels and those kinds of things. Or I hope so, at least. And man, I'm very excited about seeing what all those are.
Because there's still very few things which again, this is another thing about Immortals Fenyx Rising, where I never got the answer to this question that I wanted. Where it's like, I wonder if I can do this. There's never been a time in Breath of the Wild where I was told no, not a single time. I wonder if there will be moments now where it feels like that again, but different from Breath of the Wild, where it's like, I can do even more things, you know, like now
I feel like
there is more, you know?
I mean, and they already have that platform, right? Which is the best thing. Like, just kind of like Ocarina of Time. I mean, they took that and they made Majora's Mask, and granted, it was really, really weird. But they had that base at least to make a new game. And now, you know, they've spent, I guess, do we officially know how long they've been making Breath of the Wild 2? Is it like,
I feel like they said
3 years, 2 years? I don't know.
I think they said it was like right after they wrapped.
As soon as they were done with the DLC, I'm pretty sure they'd started on it. So that's, I mean, that was 2017. That was the beginning of 2018. Right? So yeah, that's 3 years at this point, almost. Yeah, and then more by the time it comes out. So, or unless it comes out next week, maybe it shadow drops the Game Awards. You never know.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I can't imagine working in retail and like having that be a thing.
Oh no, that would be so bad.
Like stock quantities and stuff. It's all digital,
especially now. Especially now.
All right, last question for Immortal Fenyx Rising, then we'll move on with some other stuff. Illustrator, something like that, said, I'm really struggling with which version to get this time. I was able to get the Switch version through a friend for $35, but the game does live through its world. Witcher 3, for example, had mind-blowing good stories to tell and used its world to bring them home, and yeah, that still worked fine on the Switch. But with Phoenix, this is a world that needs the best graphics possible to sell the game. Currently, I think I will take the Switch version and get the PS5 version next year when it has dropped to $20. But this time around, I'm really struggling with which version to get. If not for the great deal, the Switch version would have been out of the question. I am looking for is it a good game? Is it a good looking game? But no, it is a good looking game, but the amount of beauty that had to be left behind leaves a rather mediocre overall.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not like a super hard pixel peeper, and I'm not playing this in 4K.
Pixel
or anything
peeper.
Like
I've never heard that term.
You never heard that before?
No.
It's a thing. But yeah,
I want to save that in my memory bank, but I also don't know if I ever want to use it.
Save it. But yeah, like I'm not over here counting pixels, Right. I'm not Digital Foundry. So for me, take it with a grain of salt. It looks better. It definitely looks better on Xbox Series X, but it was never a thing of like, man, I'm so happy I don't have to play this on Switch, because I played like the first 3 hours or something like that on Switch, and then I played it on Xbox Series X, and I was kind of surprised it didn't look better.
Yeah.
Or it was like, this looks fine and it runs better, but it doesn't seem like this like generational leap.
I'm thankful. I feel like that wasn't a thing that they targeted or focused on much, and I kind of hope that more games do that. Like this one obviously like had the platform like Breath of the Wild, this game. So like it just made sense to do it this way. But like I think focusing the energy on other parts of the game instead, and like an art style rather than, and like some of the character models still look a little janky or whatever, but I'm glad that they didn't go for like photorealistic whatever, because that's a lot of Ubisoft games.
Because you saw
and it just wouldn't look
Xbox
great.
Series X footage because it's in the video.
Right. Yeah.
So
it looks, trees look better. There's more leaves on trees instead of it being like a, bulbous tree thing, but the bulbous tree thing doesn't look bad. It just looks like the way that it is in the world. So like,
right.
Yeah. That's my opinion. And there it is. All right. That's Immortals Fenyx Rising. Do with that what you will, everybody. Let's get into the news of sorts. Some of these are a little bit less newsy, but this first one is the question, will we see Metroid here in 2020?
No.
Obviously not a game release. That's not what I'm talking about. But so the two things. One, I kind of wanted to talk about the Game Awards is next week, so I just wanted to add it. If we wanted any last minute predictions for the Game Awards or something, then that's fun. But also the news bit is that Master Chief and Kratos is Kratos confirmed and Master Chief is rumored?
Yes.
Or are they both rumored?
I don't know about Master Chief. I don't know about Master Chief. I know Kratos is confirmed though.
Okay.
Yeah, Kratos is 100%, but then Master Chief, like somebody, I know we have a news article on it. Somebody tweeted that Master Chief is coming to Fortnite, and then they removed that tweet. But I don't know if that person is like a prolific person in the industry. I didn't dig into it that far, but yeah, there's rumors going around.
Yeah, because at this point, it's like that happens so often where it's like somebody leaks something and they got to take it down. That becomes the strat of like, if you're going to fake a leak, you got to take it down because nobody's going to believe it if it's still up. So you never know at this point.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that's weird about this, because everybody's like, well, if Microsoft has their rep and Sony has their rep in Fortnite, then
there's nothing making
Nintendo's
Nintendo do it anyway.
Have a rep, right? Like Nintendo's gonna have a rep, and even if they do, I don't know if they're going to be like, who's our rep? Samus. Like I don't know if they're gonna do, like, it very much so feels like to me, if they did a rep, it would probably be like Link. Like I would kind of be surprised
for
if
an inkling. Yeah.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, it's like, and I think an inkling for a while was I think there was a rumor about that for a while too, like earlier this year or last year.
Oh, interesting. I missed that.
And but Samus makes sense, because I mean, at first I felt the same way. I was like, why would they choose Samus? Because like nobody, I don't want to say nobody cares about Samus, because that's completely untrue and unfair. But
it's just relatively.
Yeah.
Well, she's just not as like recognizable of a character, but that would make sense for Nintendo maybe to like actually put Samus in, so that way all the cool kids that are playing
if
Fortnite
they want to use Fortnite like Smash Brothers, if they want to be like, what,
branding,
we're using your game as our platform, then I can see that.
Yeah, like Samus is in Fortnite and Metroid Prime Trilogy is finally on Switch.
Exactly.
Maybe like that would be sweet. And of course, that's just wishful thinking and Nintendo not putting their money where they should, but that'd be sweet.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me is that feels more realistic than it would have at other times, partly because we're seeing so many retro hires and stuff where, like, obviously they're putting a lot of money into making Metroid Prime 4 be the thing, you know, the like
I still think that they're
statement
trying
piece.
to make this Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
'Cause
they're
Zelda
trying to make
was
it
that.
be like just this huge breakout game, to where, I mean, it makes sense for them to line up as many promotional things ahead of time leading up to it as possible. But like, I mean, I don't know that they're going to do this. Obviously, nobody knows. But like, that would be a really strategic move to just get Metroid or get Samus in front of people, get Metroid as an IP in front of people.
But that's the other
do a
thing
smaller
that's
game
like,
follow up, and then Metroid Prime.
that kind of makes me unsure because Nintendo definitely does that a lot, right? Where they do the whole marketing thing where it's like, oh, well, we have this game and this is also coming out, so let's announce them together. Or like when people thought that they were going to use Paper Mario as like a vehicle to segue into a Metroid thing because they had the Samus hat or whatever, because they do stuff like that. But it usually seems like they do that stuff as an afterthought. They're not like, okay, we're going to release this game and let's have a teaser here for the other game for these two things, since we want them to come out around the same time. It's usually like, well, this is coming out and we also already have this thing, so we might as well sandwich them together. It's not as premeditated as a lot of people seem to think it is. It's just like, well, these work out, so let's do it.
Yeah, I feel like if we don't see it by the Game Awards, it's not happening for sure. But I could see it at the Game Awards, maybe.
There was another thing too, I think, in like the way that they advertised the new season for Fortnite as well. That like, is his name Jonesy? Is that the character?
The Fortnite.
I think
dude?
so. Yeah.
So I think in the tweet or like in the news post or the official post from Fortnite or Epic, they said that like Jonesy needs like all the help from like the most legendary hunters. And they specifically said hunters. And so I know like a lot of people were like, oh, that just makes sense. Like bounty hunter. And I mean, I don't know if you would consider Kratos a hunter or not. I guess so.
Exactly. Like if Kratos is a hunter, then so is Boy Zelda.
That's true. That's true.
I'll tell you.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see next week, right?
Yeah. I mean, and speaking of that, so the Game Awards, this is just a weird thing. They're announcing, and maybe by the time this episode comes out, there'll be more announced. I don't know. But they're announcing people who are going to be announcers at the Game Awards, and it's people like Gal Gadot and Brie Larson, which Brie Larson makes a little more sense because she's going to be Samus anyway in the live action movie.
Confirmed right here first.
And I don't even know who Stephen A. Smith is, but he's an ESPN guy. I think
he's like a sports commentator, dude.
That's all I got too.
But like, why? You know, a little bit. Why? I know.
Cause man, it's validation.
They're trying to make it an industry thing and all that, but
they're trying to be like, gaming is legitimate. See, here's other things that we see as legitimate.
That just seems funny to me. I mean, it makes sense that they would do it because those are people. It's like these are the top echelon celebrities or whatever. But it seems odd to pull from the non-gaming industry to legitimize the gaming industry. You know, instead of like giving it its own foundation. It's like,
I mean, yeah, but no. like in a literal sense, yes, it does not make sense. But that's just how everything works, where it's like they use older mediums to like try to legitimize the new thing. Like YouTubers still feel slighted whenever they're not like brought onto TV, you know, where it's like TV's dead, but it's still cool because we grew up watching it. So like, I want to be on that thing, you know. It's kind of like that, where it's like everybody recognizes TV and these celebrities and stuff as legitimate versus video games, where it's like, we know it's huge and like honestly bigger than these other industries at this point. But it's not like the consensus as far as like perception goes, and perception is reality and blah, 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 blah.
Well, it's a bummer too, because like there's people like us that are like going to watch it regardless because of the games, and we'll be more excited if there are like creators or people that compose music and people that are just related to video games are going to be hosting it. But I suppose if they have all of these other celebrities, then maybe other people that are just fans of them will be like, oh, what's gaming?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I gotta watch it. Gal Gadot is on it.
Yeah. I mean, and that said, I'm more like excited about like if Brie Larson and like, I mean, I know people have issues with her, but like,
Larson.
Yeah, like that's awesome. Yeah. And like, but if it's like Ben Schwartz, he's definitely a gamer. Kumail Nanjiani, he's definitely a gamer. Like other people that like talk about games anyway, like that's fun. But like,
is Ben Schwartz on it? Is he going to be on?
He's not. No, but like that would be so good.
But we don't know. We don't know yet.
Dang it. Okay.
What if Middleditch and Schwartz showed up and like did a thing bit together? I'd be so happy about
the
that.
Whole show on
improv. Man, what a time. Side note, Ziad, I'm so happy to have you on too, because like I know that we have a lot of just interests in common, which is fun. AJ and I also do. I'm not saying that, but
I agree.
It's just fun. But
no, it's freaking Chrissy Teigen too. She's another one.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. That would be good. Man, there's possibilities there.
There's still time to announce the announcers.
It's true. You never know. But they won't.
That's a weird sentence to say.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't.
But you gotta hype everything up, dude. You gotta hype everything up.
They won't be announcing Doom Eternal at coming to Switch at the Game Awards because they already did. So look at that. It's coming to the Switch. That's a whole new.
Yay! I never knew. I never knew.
Any thoughts about that before we move on from that segment? Because that's the whole segment.
I mean, it happened. Sure. I probably would have played it if it came up sooner, but now I just play it on Game Pass if I wanted to play it, and I kind of don't. So
yeah, that game's in a weird spot where like it was on sale super cheap on Black Friday, and now like do you guys know if it's been confirmed at like a certain like retail price or anything yet as well?
I mean, I'm sure $60. I can't imagine anything different.
Because it's supposed to be like bundled with Doom 64 and like some other stuff. I think because like you know how like platforms now. More specifically, it's usually a Nintendo and Microsoft thing. It seems like if you bring your game to their platform after you bring it to somebody else's platform, you got to bring something exclusive. There has to be something new.
Is motion controls new to this version? Because it did mention motion controls.
I think so.
Specifically, and so like maybe that's the new thing here.
I think so. I would be surprised if it wasn't, because like the PlayStation controller has motion, but the Xbox controller doesn't.
Yeah. So it wouldn't make sense that
they
it was
usually
in those
just
versions.
don't do it. Yeah, they usually just don't do it.
Yeah. So. I'm excited to see I still think it's fun to watch the I mean, people focus on the wrong side of the Digital Foundry videos a lot of times. The parts where like most can get down to like, 360p or whatever, but most of the time it's crazy that it's doing this thing. People will be like, it runs at 360p.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, it's fun to watch those and be like, that it really is so crazy that this game is running on the Switch. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm probably not going to play it though, because I'm not a big FPS fan, as we all know.
That soundtrack though.
True. Very accurate. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that already on Spotify though?
It is. Yeah. There is something rewarding about like the first time I heard the soundtrack for Doom 2016, the fact that it was in a game, like it was fun to be like, oh yeah, this is music that I listened to, but in a video game. Like that's kind of rewarding and like reaffirming or something like that like didn't need to be, but
well, like especially like I don't know what kind of music you listen to, AJ, but like specifically Parker and I listen to like a lot of metal, and like the like entire life of you being like a metal kid is like people telling you that your music sucks. So
I mean, but today I feel like not in video games. Like metal in video games seems normal. Like
that's true. But I think that's the thing is like with seeing it in Doom and seeing all of these people like in the comments on YouTube or like it just winning awards was like such a nice feeling, because it's like I believed in you all along.
I was here. I see.
Metal, you are a true friend.
Yeah, you never left. You just got better.
That's right. Look at that. All right, and then the last news bit, there's Switch update 11.0.0 is here. Look at that. What a time.
Look at it. You got all the way here.
I hate that icon.
I was gonna say, so I care almost zero about the icon. Like
Same.
but I know that other people are really mad about it. So like, obviously, we're on opposite sides. So tell me,
Well, for
tell me your
me,
feelings.
for me, the icon was a cool thing. Not the icon itself. I think where they put it is like whatever. Like it's kind of weird that they put it there. But to me, it says that they're going to lean more into Switch Online.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah,
is what interests me. Where it's like, okay,
and that is the discussion.
What are they doing here?
Yes. Complaining about its looks is not not a good topic. But you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and so I did have that question with this. Is like, because right now all it is a quicker link to all the things that Nintendo Switch Online can do. But like, it could already do those things, and I don't know what. Like even more casual fans didn't know that it could do a number of those things. You know what I mean?
Nah, man,
so
they didn't have that freaking like library of like, this is when this game came out. It came out
so
freaking August of 1992 or whatever.
So
like.
yeah, do you think that means anything for what they're planning on doing with it? And if so, like, what do you think? What do you think that means?
I just think that they're going to go through all the different segments that they have on there where it's like, oh, the deals, and add more to that. Like, I don't know if they're going to add any more like verticals to it. They'll probably, I mean, there's a question later about this, but they'll probably, add more libraries and stuff. But I just think that this is them saying this is what Switch Online means, and we're going to add to that and put it front
have I
center.
Checked out, and I imagine all of us are Nintendo Switch Online users because I mean it's cheap, family plans exist. But do either of you guys know what it looks like without being a member?
Free product.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, right. I don't know. Because I was wondering the same thing too. Yeah, is it something where like obviously it's still there even if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online? I probably so, and then it's just an advertisement for it. Then it's like, what's this icon on here? And you go there. But yeah, I don't know what it actually looks like in there.
Because I could see it being more of like a marketing move on Nintendo just to like educate more people, and because I mean PlayStation does that, right? Like they have PlayStation Plus right in the corner of the menu, and it's like I want you to go away, or is it the PlayStation Store? I don't remember what's there, but regardless, it feels like that same kind of move where they're just trying to like get more people to possibly buy in. And but I really do hope that they just instead, I hope that's not the plan. I hope they just continue to grow it and they add some more games and some more deals. And because if you just look at it, and it's so empty right now, besides the Super Nintendo and SNES games, but everything else just feels lacking. But but it's there, so that's cool, I guess.
Yep,
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess 11. The update had more things than just that too, but like most of them didn't really matter that much. So,
I disagree.
Which were the things? Well, I mean, you mentioned some in your video, but actually, and speaking of which, we can go ahead and get into the comments from that. AJ, do you want to give a quick overview for anybody who didn't already watch your video?
I made a video about Switch OS and stuff that I want to be added to it, and stuff that Parker wants to get added to it. But it was mostly like a thing of like, I know that if I don't mention the like stuff that everybody's always complaining about not being there, that's going to be the whole comment. So I was like, Parker, this is your part. You do it.
And I was more than happy to talk about folders. But yeah, so the first comment from that, Cool said, great video. What I really want are themes, more icons, and more series added more frequently, and gifting games. I wanted to buy a friend a digital game, and it felt weird to give them a $30 gift card and say, buy this or whatever you want. Fully agreed with that, by the way. Gifting games, I very much would like to be able to do that. There's especially like there were a bunch of games on sale for Cyber Monday or whatever, and I wanted to get one for my wife that was on sale that I was like, I just think she'd like this, and it'd be fun to just like have, a little extra game on Christmas or whatever. But I had to just sneak onto her account but actually I bought it on my account, so it didn't send her an email. So it's going to be a mess thing, but like would have been great to just be like, just buy this for somebody else and that whole thing.
Yeah. Cause right now the strat is to do it on Amazon. That's really the only way to do it, but you can't like download it onto their console like that.
And do you still get the sale price when you buy it on Amazon then too?
Nope.
Probably not. Yeah.
But that's another thing too right now is like, I don't know if you guys have thought about this before, but if you've bought a game already on the Switch and you're looking at it on the eShop, it doesn't tell you how much or how much the game is now on sale for.
It just says
so you'll
purchased.
Yeah, and so like I feel like that's a really bad move on their part, because I'll see like, oh, like Undertale is one of my favorite games, and I'll see it's on sale, or whatever, Snake Pass is on sale. I'm gonna tell my buddy Zach to go play the game. But I don't know how much it is.
Like.
Yeah. Even if it was a penny, he would tell me the same thing. But it doesn't educate us on how much it is now, and so now I'm less likely to go talk about, hey, everybody go play this game. It's just mysteriously on sale for everyone else that already owns it.
I've thought the exact same thing before, and just like, because it would be nice to know, and it's like, it wouldn't be that hard to go. Actually, even then, if you look it up on the Nintendo.com or whatever, it still shows purchased on there. So like, you can go to Deku Deals and that'll show you, but like, it would be nice to not have to do any of that, It'd just be right there.
And it's also a thing of like, I liked being able, like on the Wii, right? I liked being able to just buy people the game and not have to hear any of that. Because like now when I talk about like, oh, I'll buy you this game. No, you don't got to do. No, I'm going to buy you this game.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. I mean, like, I agree with the other things. When it's Google, when you say more icons and more series added more frequently, I'm wondering if that means more. What do you guys think?
I think he means more consoles for Switch Online.
Oh,
and more
absolutely.
Games added to that.
Yeah. Agreed. Next comment from Nova Bushido, who said, party invites, some type of chat system, and invoice party chat is 100% a need for me. Discord, etc., isn't the substitute. There's people I've played with online and only know via online. There's no way for me to actually talk to them or ask them for a game of Smash or so on. So I have people on my friends list for over 2 years I've played with once and can't contact again, hoping for a way to finally do so. Voice chat is great on system, as you can have the sound coming via the headphones while also talking to your friends. This helps a lot in competitive games.
That's a good one too. And Nintendo has the ability to kind of allow parents, if that's still the main worry, to moderate that with the Switch parental controls app. It just seems like I understand Nintendo's concern with that whole restriction, but it feels like a big want these days. And I've never even thought about the fact of, someone, playing a game with someone like Smash or whatever over the years and always playing with them. But like, you have, what are you going to go meet up? You both buy Animal Crossing just so you can go send each other a message and find out like your real names or whatever. I don't know. Like, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, that's very much so like a consideration that I never have. Cause it's like, there's so many, most of my friends list is people I don't know, because at one point in time I used to put my freaking friend code in descriptions of videos. So my friends list is just full.
I remember that.
Of that. So it's like, rip, dude. That's my friends list. And for me, like, that almost makes me not want anybody on my friends list to be able to invite me whenever, because my invites would just always be full of people that I don't know being like, oh, I want to play Smash, It's like, and that's fine when it's like, active people in the community. It's like, oh, I basically do know you, but at that point they could just tweet me or whatever, So it's like, I don't know. I'm very divided on that. I get why people want it, but at the same time, there's reasons why I would never use it. Like, I'm a multi-console owner. I have a PlayStation. I have an Xbox. I still turn off voice chat. I still, like, only deal with invites when it's from people that I know. And, like, that was set up beforehand. I texted somebody. I was like, yo, you trying to play blah, blah, blah? And they're like, yeah, send me an invite. Like, that's the extent of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, like, it would just be nice to have the option. And like you said, Xeon, too, like, you can, if for the parents or whatever, just give options to be able to turn things off, or for AJ, for your situation, be like, I only want invites from Mega Man. That's it. Or Bob, like whatever, like, who's a person in our community, by the way, as well as, Rockman,
as well as the video game
guy.
Console.
Words. They're really good today. But yeah, those are things that, like, it would, but I never did think about that kind of thing, like meeting. There's people that I've met for sure through Twitter or something, but like, I can talk to you through Twitter. So that's easy to, like, start a friendship through that, but like, not really through the Switch, even though maybe you could otherwise. Intaro says, to be honest, a music player / video player would be nice. The Switch is mobile, a bit bigger than a phone screen. If I could load up my music and have it play on its own or in the background, of other games, it would be a nice addition. Video player would just be nice, but I could live without it. Interesting. But at the same time, as soon as you said play music in the background of other games, in high school, I played the game. AJ's heard me say this, but the GameCube Return of the King, Lord of the Rings Return of the King game. I played that a lot. It was great. But we'd always play August Burns Red, like plug that into the speakers instead of the TV, like take out the red and white. The audio ones, and then stick that in instead. And it was just like, just going to town on a bunch of orcs, but with August Burns Red in the background. So like, yeah, I'm down. That would be awesome. Have Spotify or something as a background app. Is that something on the other consoles that you can do that?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember you could do that on the Xbox back in the day. Like some games you could shut off the music. I dug out my old Xbox like 2 years ago and I found a bunch of Linkin Park on there. I think I found some Limp Bizkit.
Nice.
There might have even been some Evanescence. It was a lot of like, I was playing with a lot of my mom's CDs, but then some of my friends had just like put whatever I can on here. Some Good Charlotte, I think, was on there.
Yeah.
Really throwing it back.
That very much so sounds like Xbox era for sure.
And that's a good point too, because like we look at ourselves, and like we've got phones, right?
Yeah.
So we think of ourselves as like not needing these other options, but for kids out there or people that just have a Switch, I think that'd be a great feature, even if like we don't use it.
Because like there's freaking 4 screens in my immediate that I can watch Netflix on.
No, I mean, but that's the thing. Yeah, I remember my friend, his PS4 was dying. He was looking into getting a Switch, and he's like, but the PS4 is my Netflix machine. So like, do I get another PS4? Do I get a Switch because it doesn't have Netflix? I'm like, that's valid. Like, yeah, if that's the thing you watch Netflix on, you don't have a smart TV or whatever, then like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Get a Roku stick or something and go from there.
Right.
But yeah, last question or comment is from Graham Richardson, who said, the Switch has the ability to detect if it's in dock or not. So why not have a feature that tracks what games you play most in dock and what you play in handheld? Then the Switch is in one or the other state. It could pull up the games you're most likely to play. Oh, that's interesting.
That'd be crazy.
That was the kind of thing that like when I mentioned,
like another Spotify rap thing where it's like this year you played mostly docked.
When I mentioned the like activity log or whatever, like those are the kinds of stats that are completely useless, but I would love to see it. Like, Nintendo Life, you guys had a poll that's like, do you play 90% docked? It was like all the percentages, do you play mostly handheld or docked or whatever, and everything in between. But like you could actually have the real data because it exists. Nintendo has it, but
they have it.
We just don't, it'd be nice to have it. It would be fun.
Yeah, there's so many reasons. Like there's so many little things like that like the Switch doesn't need, but it would be perfect for. Like you can't sort your games, you can't throw them. Like there's, like you said, there's no folders, there's no method besides like sometimes I'll be going to go take a photo, like a product photo for Nintendo Life or whatever, and I'll open up like 5 different games so that way I have the icons on my Switch menu to make it look like, or so that way you just see these other games, and that's just so annoying. Like there's just so many reasons, and that's the tiniest one. But yeah, the Switch just needs more customization options like that. And I think, even for review purposes, it would be cool to know, like how long someone played a game in docked mode versus undocked, or if you're tracking
that would be
backlog.
Huge. That would be huge if we can like access that information.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe someday.
I looked up last year on because of Spotify Wrapped. I was like, we got that thing from Nintendo last year, sometime around now. It was December 18th because I tweeted out about it and I went through to find where it was. So in a couple weeks, we should be getting some information from Nintendo, but probably it's going to be pretty basic. But it would be cool if it wasn't. But what's not basic?
Your games docked.
What's not basic is asking questions and getting answers. It's very complicated, but we're about to do it. Well, you asked questions.
We already did it. We already asked.
It's true,
and they already answered them. We just didn't read them yet.
There you go. Long story short, that was my really weird segue into the Q&A segment. Here we are. We're doing it. This is our last segment, but we have a lot of questions. Some will be fast, some will be less fast. And here we go. First of all, from YouTube community, we got one from This Is Oscar, who says,
"Yo, he's Solid Snake."
So Oscar Isaacs says, Snake. This is the worst take. Give us the worst take you can think of, regardless of topic. I feel like it's gonna be food, probably. Maybe not.
So does Oscar mean like our actual worst take?
Yeah, like
or
does it have
just
to be our take?
hypothetically? Yeah, or is this
I'm
like
gonna
we have to
Is
come
it
up
one
with a
that we
comically
believe?
bad-
I'm gonna executively say that your worst personal take, because otherwise, yeah, it would be really easy to just be like, cars on pizza. That's not a pizza topping, like, or whatever. But I happen to believe that it is a pizza topping. So yeah, obviously, no.
No, wait. Okay, so
You're a
well, no, we
machine.
can't do. I don't know if we could do that because I don't know if we could do that for Xeon. I was gonna say we should go around and be like I tell Parker what his worst take is. Parker tells me, but then like I don't know how we could tell Xeon.
Yeah, I'd have to come up with something.
Because Parker's worst take is undoubtedly the pear thing.
Oh, that's coming up in the next question, literally.
Take.
So hold on to that. We'll talk about that. And I disagree. I think it is a fantastic and very reasonable take.
So
not to
you know,
cloud Xeon's
Xeon,
opinion
his
either way.
take.
No, wait,
his
hang on.
take-
We're getting to it. It's in the next
Okay,
question.
all right,
7
okay,
asks.
Okay. All right.
Long story short, I can't think of it. Here, how about just throughout this, we'll have multiple questions, and we're gonna have bad takes.
We got to pick the
We'll call
worst
them out.
take. Okay, gotcha.
Throughout the Q&A, it'll come up at some point. So this is Oscar. I want to say this is Isaac. Hold on to that. 7 said 2 questions, 1 serious, 1 not. Number 1, when Nintendo's next system eventually comes out, do you think it'll follow the Switch template since that's doing so well for them, or will they go full Nintendo and come out with something completely new and different that we never knew we needed?
I think they'll definitely do the Switch format again because, I mean, NVIDIA, for one, seems very confident that they're in it for the long haul. They're like, yep, they're going to be knocking on our door next time around. But I think they're still going to try to, put a spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Nintendo, yeah, like they're in it for not forever, maybe, but I think now that they don't have to develop games for like 2 different systems now, and they just have the handheld games and the console games are both just in one market now. I mean, it realistically it should take less time for them to make games. Maybe not because they have to redevelop them somewhat. But yeah, I think they're just in it, and hopefully we'll just get a better version of the Switch down the road. I mean, obviously there's plenty of rumors out there with that, but yeah, I agree. I think they're stuck with the Switch.
Yeah, I think the question largely comes up to like, do they prioritize innovation or like innovation for the sake of innovation or innovation for the sake of their games and stuff? And I think the Switch has enough baked into it to where like even if they didn't change really anything about it, but just made the exact things that were there better, like it still had HD Rumble, but it's better HD Rumble. It still has the IR thing, but it's a better IR thing, whatever. Like, I feel like they could still do any gimmicky ideas they want pretty much.
Yeah.
With
and
it.
I mean, they still do it now.
Yeah.
Even after having the Switch. They're like, the Switch is out. They didn't launch with Ring Fit, but it has it now. They didn't launch with Labo, but it has it now.
Yeah. So I feel like they're not like hurting for a gimmick right now, whereas other times I feel like it's kind of one of those like for years they were trying to find their sound and they finally found the one that they're happy with, at least for now, but that could definitely change.
I don't even know
I'm with
if
you
I
guys.
would say that. I think that it's less so like them trying to like find their sound or their footing or something like that, and more so just being like, we're bored, we want to try this.
Yeah.
And the cool thing too is Nintendo is like you guys said, they're constantly doing that, like how they came out with Labo and Ring Fit and Mario Kart Live, like, and those experiences, they're not for everybody, but it's things that are different than what everybody else is doing. And I think, it's like Nintendo's like getting crazy with ideas like they did with the Virtual Boy back in the day, which flopped. But now they're doing it somewhat on a smaller scale with a system that everybody already loves. And so I think we'll continue to see them take risks like that, but they won't be as monumental, I suppose. So then if it doesn't work,
a bad outcome for them. It won't be like, is this Nintendo's last console? Because Labo came out and didn't sell 30 million copies.
I feel like they're happy with, as compared to the Wii, they're happy with the Switch in terms of, and like we're happy too, the like casual versus not casual fan base and all that kind of stuff. Whereas with the Wii, I mean, I still don't honestly fully know what they were thinking going into the Wii U, but it felt like they were like, we need to iterate because like this is doing some of the things right, but not doing all of it right. Whereas right now, I feel like they're pretty much like, for right now, we've hit gold. Let's hold on to that for a little while.
And it's weird because I don't even feel like Nintendo really knew what they were doing with the Wii U. Like I remember the one thing that always struck me the most was like I can't remember if I was still working retail or not at the time, but I remember Nintendo came up with a sheet that was like a bunch of pieces of paper like on a stack or whatever, and you tear them off, and they put them on kiosks for the Wii and the Wii U, or like on cash wraps or whatever, and it said like, here's what the Wii does and here's what the Wii U does differently.
No.
And it's because they had to explain to people because nobody knew. Like Nintendo had to produce that product. Like that's so sad. And
yeah, it's weird because it's like you could tell that they just got to the point where they were like, it's the Wii brand, dude. Like we're not even Nintendo anymore. We're Wii,
Right.
So they're like, it has the name, so we don't have to think that much. But they didn't commit enough. If they would have made it Wii 2 and be like, oh, it's Wii 2 and it's just a Wii and blah blah, it might have did better. But because they kind of were like, it's Wii, but it's for gamers this time.
Right.
believe us. It's not just for your grandma. It was like, okay, what is this though?
And we're going to advertise it with 5-year-olds.
Yeah, and we're just going to show the tablet. We're not going to show the console at all.
What an odd time.
It's crazy.
It would be so interesting to like. I don't think they're ever going to be fully honest about it, but I really would love to know what some of the folks at Nintendo really think about the Wii U now, like in retrospect, because they've said little bits of things where Reggie was like, "Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best kind of thing," but like.
I think the biggest thing with Wii U, having had one, that's the problem, is timing and how they marketed it. Because if Wii U came out in 2010 and they were just like, know how everybody's asking us for Wii HD? Here it is. It's more powerful than the other consoles. And also, it has this tablet and you could play the games without your TV and blah, 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 blah. It would have sold crazy. And if they came out with Switch 5 years later, it would have did even better, But
honestly, also if they'd called it Wii 2, terrible name, but like better than Wii U and more distinct that like it's a new thing. That's
exactly
that exists.
It sounded like an add-on for the Wii. I remember standing in line, like Old Navy did a deal back in the day where you could get, if you spent $40 in the store, you could get Mario Bros. U for free on Wii U.
In what world did Old Navy ever have? That's crazy.
I don't know. And then the next year, I think they did like Just Dance or something else. But I bought a bunch of clothes for my grandma, and then I got the game for free. But I remember
that is where I got my freaking Mario U, because I didn't want to buy that game because I just bought it on Wii. But I was like, oh, I can just do that. I can freaking get my sister something from Old Navy or whatever. And
the whole reason I even bring that up is because it was the lady in front of me or the lady behind me was like in line. She was gonna get it, and she was getting it for her grandkids, and somehow I found out she didn't have a Wii U. She just had a Wii. She thought it was compatible with the Wii. Man. And I think she still like went in and bought it because she was going to get the clothes, but it was just nobody knew what it was.
Honestly, that's probably when everybody's talking about like Xbox X or Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, like the like parents are going to be so confused. Actually, I feel like that's one of the smartest things that Microsoft whatever could do is have all the games be cross-gen, not just for gamers. Like, because I know some gamers are mad because like, oh, then you can't really take advantage of the new hardware, all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 even though there's enhancements and whatever. But at least this way, nobody's going to be buying the wrong games for people. Like, you can tell somebody like, that's the game that I want. It doesn't matter what version you pick up, it's going to work. And like for 2 years at least, there will be some overlap for most games, and then it'll dwindle off, I'm sure. But like,
yeah. Also, I mean, we're in a different time now where
it's true.
Back then, even iPhone was still like, it's iPhone 3GS and 4S and blah, blah. But now the branding for a lot of stuff like iPads and stuff,
everything's iterative.
It's not iPad 2. It's not iPad 5. It's just iPad,
And it is, which a very side note, it's frustrating knowing like, if I like my iTunes on my computer might not upgrade to the newest version of iTunes because it needs this one those kinds of things are annoying where it's like things are so iterative that like everything kind of works still, but at some point it stops supporting it and you never know when that is.
Right. Like you have like I have an iPhone 7, I think. Gets all
See, that proves the point even more. Like, I don't even know which one I have.
You're right. And like, I have all the updates and stuff, but like it functions, but I feel like it runs slower than it would if I had the newer iPhone. And so now I wish that I had software that was like designed for this.
Yeah,
right.
But I guess that's like the blessing and the curse of having everything function together, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So now going in the second half of Seven's question, which is the silly one. I feel like, okay. The question is, what's the official Nintendo Life? Not just Xeon. You speak for all of Nintendo Life.
Oh, no.
What's the official Nintendo Life statement on the theoretical pair situation? I feel like last time I had the privilege of getting to explain it to her. Pretty much every time we have a new guest on, this comes up. It's a long-running disagreement that AJ and I love to have. But AJ, I feel like you get to have the honors of explaining it this time, which means it's going to be skewed your way. I know it, but that's fine.
Okay. So this is the theoretical situation. If somebody asks you, okay, so Parker, right? Parker, if somebody asks him if he likes pears, he says, theoretically, I like pears. And here's the reason why Parker doesn't like pears. I mean, or doesn't just say, yes, I like pears, is because sometimes, or most times or whatever, they're not the ideal pair. So he feels like he has to preface it with theoretically. Whereas I think that if I like something, I don't feel the need to be like, I like it, but only when it's very good, or even when it's not bad, Like if I like it, then yes, I like it. Like nobody's gonna, like if I say yes, I like pears, nobody's gonna be like, oh, so he must like mealy pears as well, Like that's
the thing is, the original question was like, what's the best fruits? And I was like, raspberries, and like theoretically pears. And then, but here we are. I realized
it snowballed.
Because he said he theoretically likes pears instead of just being like, I like pears. No. I'm like, what? What does that even mean?
So I won't give any more clarification or anything, but Xeon, react as you will. We will respect.
I'm trying to think of a scenario that's comparable to that. Like
comparable.
Oh no!
God.
Here we are, everybody. It's so good.
Like it's like saying like I like pizza, but theoretically I like pizza if it
it's like, well, I don't like pizza with anchovies on it, but like
that's getting like that's just different. That's a different pizza.
Yeah.
But pears, I mean, I guess like you could get into this scenario where like apples are different. There's like Honey Crisp and Granny Smiths or whatever. I can't even tell you another name of an apple.
I did even the realization.
So let's do pizza, right? Where it's like, if I say I like pizza, I like pepperoni pizza even. If I say I like pepperoni pizza, that doesn't then mean that people are going to be like, oh, okay, so I can just go to Little Caesars and you'll definitely like that just as much as you like it from like a local place in New York. All right. Like it's the same kind of pizza, but it's not the same quality of pizza.
So I think I realized something when you were explaining it this time that helps me at least understand why we would have such opposing views on, I mean, like we have the same exact idea, I think, of like the mindset, but like it's, I'm a people pleaser and you are not a people pleaser. And like, if in a world where like, I wouldn't want to say to somebody like, yeah, man, I love whatever that dish is that you're going to make, and then make it for me. And then, I mean, I would eat it anyway. But then me be like, oh yeah, it's good. And them tell that like, oh, he doesn't really like it.
I'm
like,
not going to do that. And it's not, like, I wouldn't necessarily
say
rather like,
be negative it's not necessarily
like yeah, for me, it's not necessarily like a people thing. Like, I'm not going to like be mean to them for the sake of it, but I feel like it's just as bad for me to lie to you, for me to not, like I'm going to be like, yes, I like pizza, but if you make a bad pizza, I'm going to tell you make a bad pizza so you can get better at making pizza, like, so, but with the pear thing, you didn't grow the pear.
No, so, I surely didn't.
So what has made you theoretically enjoy some pears over the others? Like, how did you learn that there was a difference in pears? Like, because
I've had a couple pears.
I've really eaten. I don't know the last time I've had a pear.
What a horrible person you must be.
That could be a personal problem. Yeah, that's quite.
No, yeah, I don't have them that much, but like I've had pears before, and sometimes I'm like, man, this is so good. But then like a lot of times I've gone to eat a pear and been like very disappointed, either because it's too mealy and like just whatever the word mealy means, or it's like cardboard kind of thing where it like doesn't have much flavor. It's just hard. And like, neither of those are good. But the problem is like more often than not, that ends up being my experience of a pear is like, oh, it actually wasn't as good as the
It's like the
times that I
inverse.
know the pears have been good, you know.
It's the inverse of like when you say I don't like seafood, and people are like, "Well, you didn't try my seafood."
Right.
It's the inverse of that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny because like, yeah, so I've at some point theorized about making a risk versus reward of fruits, because like we'll talk about fruits every once in a while, but like there's some that like consistent apples are like, especially like Granny Smith apples. If you like Granny Smith apples, consistently pretty much good. You know, like sometimes they're mealy, but more often than not, they're not. And then there's other ones that are like bad more often than not, but like could be great, like pears. So there's that.
nah, man. If you like pears, you like pears. If you don't, you don't.
I suppose it makes sense. Like bananas. Like I love bananas after they're like a little too gone. And but my girlfriend is like the complete opposite. She has to eat them like not when
They
they're
better
green,
still be
but like,
green.
they are now done green, or they have like a hint of green left. And see, I'm just like, no, get that away from me. You can eat all those. So, like, give me a couple days, then I'll eat them. She'd be like, "Oh, don't forget to eat the bananas," and I'm like, "I'm waiting. Just give them some time.
They're not done yet."
And if I don't, banana bread. You know, that's how it works. So
that's true. That's true.
That's true. But yeah.
All right. So
In
there's
that scenario,
that.
I would just be like, I
That's
like
good.
bananas.
Thank you for that.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Next question from Cool said, I don't see this happening, but Kratos okay, this is, maybe we covered this before, but we kind of did. Here it goes anyway. I don't see this happening, but since Kratos is now in Fortnite and Master Chief is rumored to be coming too, who do you think would be the most likely Nintendo character? I could see it being either Samus or just a Splatoon-themed skin, a normal skin that resembles the Inklings / Octolings and has some color splashes and the logo.
Boy Zelda.
I will say I don't want to see a human Fortnite character like with Splatoon appendages.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's like a really lanky, because that's
Yeah.
one of the things that makes Splatoon characters so cool. It's just like their little compact size, and I think if you really stretch that out, it's gonna stretch it for me.
Because so I haven't played Fortnite much, but like it is just skins, right? Like they'll never be different sizes from each other or anything like that.
There's like Thanos. He was like Thanos.
Oh, true.
You know, so I think
we haven't had like Yoda.
Yeah, there's
hasn't
not
been-
really like small
Mm.
characters. They're
Okay,
like
yeah.
always either bigger.
Because they would
or
have to be
around
at
the
least like
same
half the height
proportions
to be Inklings of the
Yeah.
regular characters, and that would be, or same height but huge. Like,
Yeah, like how they put Mario in like NBA
Yeah.
Street or whatever. Like,
Right.
Oh
Yeah. I feel like Samus. Yeah, Samus makes the most sense. Or I mean, like you said, maybe
I
Link or
think it's
something
gonna
like
be
that.
Boy
But
Zelda. But I mean, the only thing that's like not Boy Zelda is because he doesn't use guns. But like
they could just reskin all of his weapons, or they could just give him
Yeah.
a crossbow from
Exactly.
Link's crossbow
that would be
training.
so good.
Yeah.
Now moving on to Twitter, we've got questions. First one from Duncan Ketchison, who this is said, boys,
he's my
Age of
nemesis.
Calamity seems to be doing well, following in the footsteps of Persona 5 Scramble. Make another entry in a franchise that follows that storyline but completely changes the gameplay. What other series do you think could benefit from this? Metroid RTS, Fire Emblem FPS, Thinking Face.
Star Fox. Period.
In what gameplay style?
A freaking open world action game, like a Halo sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean Star Fox Assault?
No,
which I
not
never
that.
played, so I can't rag on that game.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
no, not that. Like I mean, like a game like that, but designed well. But also, I mean, Star Fox is
Star Fox Adventures? Is that what you want?
No, that, but also that. Like, yeah, those get. See, that's the thing. Those games get a bad rap because they're not bad, or as bad as people say that they are. They're just not.
You're right. They are different. Yeah.
The regular Star Fox game, and that's what people like. They're like, this is a Zelda game. It's like, yeah, and it should be, because Star Fox, like the universe is not. They leave their ships. And in fact, most of the lore is outside of a ship. You know, so yeah. But yeah, no, like expand Star Fox to be freaking No Man's Sky. You know, like it shouldn't all take place in Narwings or Land Masters or whatever you want to do.
A little bit of both. What about you, Zion? Any ideas?
So this was, I feel like I should have a better answer for this, but at first I thought the question was just asking purely like what kind of Warriors game would we want as a series? And on my desk here, I have my Animal Crossing Switch.
Oh
So I
my
thought
God.
the thought of an Animal Crossing Warriors game. Like imagine, I don't even know what you would be fighting. Like villagers that
Tom
you
Nook.
don't want on your island. Like, yeah, like Tom Nook is like the
Or
big daddy.
if
like,
it's not fighting, what's the equivalent mechanic that like hugging? Like you just go around and high five all the bad, and like they're like, yep, they're satisfied now. They've left. They got their high five. They're out
No,
of
you
here.
crashed
they
them
give
on
you
the
some
stock
bells
market.
at the end of
It's
the day.
fans. It's
Yeah.
just fans of villagers that have all come and they're like crowding the area, and you're like, gotta get them all out of here
Oh,
and
just
sign
fighting
some
the internet?
autographs.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you end them. It's like, they have to go.
It was just picturing a little bit of like the fan animated stuff that we've seen of like Isabelle with Doom Guy.
Yeah.
And like, of course, not her like pulling out a gun and just mowing down enemies, but just thinking of like some of the character designs and like how we've seen what's her name? Marin from not Marin. Oh my gosh, what's Link's the girl in Link's Awakening? I don't know. She had like a crazy moveset.
yeah.
Is that Marin?
Oh yeah, that is her name.
It's Marin.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I was thinking of Malin for okay, but yeah, totally. Like Marin, like she used like a bell and she like summoned the windfish and stuff. And like imagine some Animal Crossing characters doing some crazy stuff like that. Like Isabelle, she I don't know, she summons Tom Nook's debt and throws it at you or something, or like I don't know, just some she throws a tree at you, like implement some smash moves. But it really does come down to the question of like, yeah, why are they fighting the internet or why are they fighting fans?
Yeah.
There's some real plot holes there to fill up. But that was the thought.
Yeah. And Duncan, this is when I said that AG would be mad earlier, it's because we made a whole video talking about these kinds of things just last week. So
Sure we did.
So Duncan, just kidding.
I wasn't mad at that because he didn't say
Duncan on
Warriors game.
Duncan.
Yeah.
So he still is in my good graces. He's not out yet.
I'm gonna go. Okay, well I mentioned this one. Donkey Kong Cross Punch Out is my idea.
They already did that.
No, but he was in Punch Out. But this is Donkey
Kong game.
He's taking the lead. Little Max sent him on his way and said, "Do it," or something. All right, Falcon says, "What franchises would you like to see crossover, and what kind of game would it be?"
I feel like we get this question all the time. We get this question so much.
What was the question?
What franchises would you like to see crossover, and what kind of game would it be?
I want freaking. I'm trying to think of something I have.
Like Donkey Kong and Mario, they've never really done anything, together.
That's not true. That's a lie. You're a liar.
It's quite a lie. That's how they started.
It's true. And also they even did the freaking Donkey Kong versus Mario minis thing.
I'm recycling this idea, but I'm gonna say Galaxy Racers and have the F-Zero like all of the sci-fi.
You're a panderer.
Oh, I totally am. But I'm looking at my SNES Classic box and it just had F-Zero on there. I was like, F-Zero, we're going with that one. But yeah, all of the sci-fi racers, Star Fox, F-Zero, and all of them as a racer game in space. As to contrast Mario Kart. That's it. That's my idea.
Freaking Splatoon and Mario Sunshine.
I love it. Actually,
that
would be really good.
We've never gotten anything like, and no crossovers between those, right?
No,
not that I can think of.
I mean,
there was like rumor. There was like the fake
was
leak
there?
where it was like, oh, Mario's freaking Splatoon DLC because they were like, why don't we make it a Mario Sunshine game? And they're like, no, we want to make our own thing. It's gonna be rabbit tofu monster people. And they're like, okay, but no, like, what if we make them squid kids? That's the behind the scenes on Splatoon. That's how it happened.
Yep. Max Wright says, "Cool guest."
I like how you said that. Like we
True.
don't know him.
Thanks, Max. Max said, question time. In this scenario, try and imagine Nintendo cares about the value of its online service. You there? Okay. You can only choose one Game Boy, N64, GBA, and GameCube game to add to the service. What are they?
I mean, Game Boy's just a Pokemon box.
Yeah.
So Pokemon. Crystal, I guess. This is the newest one on Game Boy, but that's Game Boy Color. So
I mean, yeah, it
I would
counts.
love to see Golden Sun come back.
Oh,
Like
man.
I've yeah. Like I played it back in the day, but I don't remember a whole lot. Like I kind of remember the final boss, and that's unfair of my memory. Like that's the one thing I should forget.
Yeah. Man, I talk about Golden Sun all the time. It's
true.
yeah,
He does.
it's my favorite.
So that could be the GBA
franchise,
one.
so-
Well, you know what? By committee. So
Yep.
Pokemon, Golden Sun for the GBA,
Mhm.
N64.
I hope Nintendo's listening.
All right, we got
one person.
Agree.
All right, so we got to rifle through all 3 good N64 games.
Ow. I just made
Oh,
the
that's rough.
best-
I know. I was
the
about to
best
say, Xeon just
N64
made
games. There's at least 21.
Yeah.
There's at
As
least
voted by the people.
True, that's true.
Yeah.
Which some
What-
of that was like, how do I talk about WWE when I've never played this
Oh
game?
my
Thankfully, we
God.
have a team of people that
Yeah.
have also played these games and can help me talk about things. But
It's
yeah.
true. So many people are wrong. Anyway, the best 3. Like,
what,
I mean, am I truly?
Are you Xeon? You make the executive decision. N64. What do you think?
N64. What is it?
It's tough because some of these games we've seen in other formats, right? Like Mario
Right.
64 is back now. Ocarina of Time is, in my opinion, it's better on 3DS.
Mhm.
So I'd probably pick something oddball. And the one game I want everyone to play on the N64 is Rocket Robot on Wheels, because it's made by the people that made Sly Cooper, which I know is not like a Nintendo franchise.
Mhm.
But it came out like really late in the N64's life, and the only reason I ever played it was because we picked it up out of a bargain bin at Walmart for $20 with Jet Force Gemini just on a whim, and yeah, it's a really cool platformer that has a lot of hiccups, and that game deserves more attention. And obviously GoldenEye and things like that would be great on N64. And I'm not going to steal your answers, but more people need to play that game.
No, by committee. That's the one.
Yeah, it's by committee.
Oh,
so that's
all
the
right.
one.
Oh shoot,
Rocky Robot on Wheels.
Yeah,
There you go.
picked it. That's the one.
I'm glad.
And,
You're
and
welcome,
then,
Rocket.
and then GameCube.
GameCube.
Game.
We can pander again. Say F-Zero GX. Bring it back into the limelight.
But this isn't
know?
even his question.
Oh,
You
I
gotta
know.
Pander to Max.
I mean, in that case, Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, we could say that. Except that's coming anyway. It seems like, but
That's the Wii game.
true.
Uh,
Man, GameCube games. Oh, Wind Waker.
Billy Hatcher.
I mean, there's another way to play Wind Waker anyway. But
That's
let's
true.
do
That's
it.
true. Yeah, Billy Hatcher though. Billy Hatcher would be. See, that's like another
SSX
game. That,
Avalanche.
like,
I mean, 1080 Avalanche. Sorry, we figured
That's
it out.
crazy.
1080
This
Avalanche.
man just did a sin. That's
I
crazy.
do.
He
I
just
did do that.
combined. He just called it McDonald's Burger King. That's crazy.
I worked at Burger King for a long time. People came in asking for McDoubles
Macs.
and chicken McNuggets and Big Macs. All this. I'm like, you guys are at the wrong place. Have a nice day. Go away.
Did you punch
Have
them
it
in
your
the
way.
face?
Yes.
Contractually obligated.
It's 1080 Avalanche. We already figured it out. Sorry, guys.
We
That's
got
the
it.
one.
We did it.
Aaron Fields asked, I just finished my first playthrough of Fire Emblem Three Houses and just really want to hear other people's opinions on story and character development in the route you played. It's quickly become my favorite game on Switch, and I didn't expect it to be. Aaron, I'm so proud of you. What a wonderful game.
It's true. It's true. I agree.
Did
I was
you,
in the
Xeon
same
A,
boat.
did you play it? And B, what house did you choose?
I did. I went with the Golden Deer, and I love.
You guys are
Claude.
the same human. You're the same person. It's perfect.
Mhm.
I really want to go back and play again, because there's so much of the game that like I don't remember. I don't feel like I sped through it towards the end, but I guess somewhat. Like I just started, like getting missions done, and because I just wanted to see it through to the end. But I feel like I didn't. Not that I didn't get the full ending, but it was I don't know. I felt somewhat empty after I finished it.
I
Like there
think
were
the
some
thing is
things
there
missing.
isn't a full ending within one individual playthrough. Like that's because a lot of the story, like, so we did a like spoiler cast kind of thing with me and AJ and my friend Mitch, who played through the Blue Lion's house.
And I
And
picked
like,
Black Eagles.
and you play Black Eagles, yeah. And so like we all had
Nice.
things where it's like, oh,
That's
they
perfect.
did that in that. That's so weird. And so like it was interesting finding out what story beats just straight up didn't exist in some parts of in one house or the other. Yeah. So I would, yeah.
That is the cool part about like being able to play, because I mean, and that's the thing, is the game is such a commitment too, like that you can't just juggle 3 playthroughs super easy, or 4 if you want.
Yeah. Right.
And But that's the cool part about it too, being able to come together and like find out what was different about, you know, your experience here or there.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you said you did the Black Eagles, right, AJ?
Yeah, I did Black Eagles, and it's ironic because it's like I considered the Golden Deer, but Claude, like how he was talking to me, it was kind of shady, dude. I was like, I don't know, I don't trust him. So I think went with Edelgard.
I was the opposite. Originally, I was like, I'm totally going Black Eagles. Like Edelgard looks bad.
Yep.
She's a badass. Badass is fine.
well, the autopilot mode in me just kicked in. But yeah, she was super cool. And then I don't know, something about Claude, just like I think it was the characters. I think I went and like I talked to all the characters in the houses, and then like it felt like I was doing like my interview process, right? Like
I was
I did the same thing
prior
it was
to
just
everything, and then I talked to them. I was like, no, these guys are super straight laced and they're lame, and blue's my favorite color, but you guys suck. Like
I was like I was like so sold on the Golden Deer until I talked to Claude, and I was like, he just seems like he's hiding something. I don't like it.
Also, you're not wrong, like he kind of is, but it's like he's hiding good stuff, but like, you know, also he's a little
I couldn't do it. I was like, nope, not doing it.
I still follow his voice actor on Twitter, and he's it's so good.
Joe's great. He's good.
Yeah, he is great. It's also so I've been watching a channel called Corridor Crew on YouTube.
Oh yeah. No,
okay, so they have a channel called Corridor where they do like VFX.
That's like
videos and stuff.
Like that's the thing that's crazy about that channel. It would be like if Directly to You was the thing that like now every freaking podcast episode gets 3 million views. You know,
so,
like
Corridor Crew is just like their behind the scenes channel that they started to do stuff that ends up getting as many, maybe more plays than their like main channel, which is funny.
It feels like more often than not now.
It does
because they do the whole thing of like special effects artist critique Sonic movie or whatever, and it gets 11 million views.
Reacting to like VFX, good and bad VFX and stuff. But one of them is from some movie called, I don't remember what it's called, but it's Bird something, and it's like a 2010 movie that I'm almost positive. I looked up the cast and he is not in it, but there's like one little bit of this super bad indie movie that in the Birdemic, yes.
It is
Birdemic.
Oh, no.
It is Birdemic.
I've only heard.
I've only seen the bits that they showed there, which is like, you know, probably all of 2 minutes worth of clips here and there. But I'm almost positive that Joe, the voice actor for Claude, played a character in that movie. I could be wrong. I could just tweet at it and find out.
That is such a random thing.
There's a guy that I'm like, oh, he really looks like Joe Zia, or however you pronounce his name. But I prefer not knowing because I just want it to be. So I'm just leaving it alone, you know?
That's great.
Yeah.
It's funny that you have a story about that. So I go into our Goodwill over here like fairly often because they actually have like a full electronics section with video games.
Nice.
And there's somebody on the loudspeaker that, I mean, of course it's pre-recorded, but it sounds like Joe. And like one of these times I'm going to record it and like ask him or whatever. One of the last times I was in there too, I heard it, and the guy behind the counter is a big gamer. So I was like, hey, did you play Fire Emblem Three Houses? And he was like, no. And I was like, never mind. Forget about it. I'm just going to be in my own bubble here just thinking about it.
I was at Walmart after that game came out, and I live in a college town, or like I live in the suburban part of the college town where I went to college. And I was at the Walmart on the college side of town. There were 3 college kids walking past that one of them was like, very in-depth explaining exactly what the 3 houses stood for to his other 2 friends who were obviously like a little interested, but the game literally had come out like 2 days before. So I like walked up to him and I was like, I'm so sorry. What house did you choose? And he was like, oh, the Blue Lions. I was like, Golden Deer, get out of here. I wasn't really mean. It was fun, but I could tell. Yeah, I don't know. It was a fun time. That's the end of that story.
It's always tough because like you want to, like, at least me personally too, like I want to interject in like segments like that, but I'm like, is that too far? I don't know this man, but like if I were him, maybe I'd think it's cool that someone came up to talk to me when my friends didn't care about what I was talking about. But
yeah, it's always like people, I'll be wearing like a Pokemon shirt or something, or like a Zelda shirt, and someone will be like, nice shirt, hey, you're the thing. But like sometimes they'll just say like, nice shirt, and then I'll walk away and be like, Oh, we share a hobby of some sort, but like I don't process it in the moment. I'm just like that. Okay, whatever. So next question. This is from Andrew, who said, would you rather be stuck in your bedroom for the rest of your life with access to every video game, console, TV show, movie, or social media, or be able to roam the earth freely, but never be able to use any of those things ever again? Also, people are allowed to come in and out of your room, but you can never leave.
So I feel like the first scenario is basically our scenario, but
Yeah,
it's
right.
better. Like it's better than our current scenario because people can't just come in whenever they want, you know? So like, I feel like that's the better option because you can't like do anything. Because like you would have to be able to be like, okay, I'm just gonna like travel and like see people and do things, blah blah blah. You would have to work around when they're engaging with the things that you can't. So I'm like, no, you gotta turn the freaking TV off. Don't play any video games. I don't want to see it because I can't use it. Don't talk about social media.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, so could you be at someone else's house and watch them play games, but you physically can't? I mean, that's still a curse in itself.
Yeah.
Could you watch, like, could you physically watch someone play a game in front of you?
I don't know how that's interesting. I think for me, I'm like, I've been stuck in my house now, for so long that I'm like, no, I need to have the option to be able to get out of my bedroom. But like, just replace, I mean, I would very much miss TV and video games and movies and all that stuff. But like, you got board games, music, like there's other things that, like I would just end up having different hobbies. But maybe if I didn't know about all the other things.
I don't know. I feel like the world is too,
I know. It depends
like
on if the whole rest of the world is changing as well.
Right now. Yeah, we couldn't be doing this right now. Yeah. Me and Zion wouldn't have jobs.
Yeah, I think it depends on like if you're the only one whose life is changing, that would be way harder. If everybody's life was changing around it, you'd adapt.
But
yeah, like if everyone else had
if they're engaging with you, their life would have to change when they're with you because you can't engage with those things.
Yeah. In which case that would be bad.
It's weird because you'd have like a sector of people that like can go out and do things, and then you have the people that can't. And so like so
it's like the yellow belly or the star-bellied Sneeds and the not star or whatever that thing is. Is it Sneeds, right? I think. I don't know. The star-bellied Sneech. Oh, I'm so close.
Well, it's good because then at least you don't have to like I'm in a position where I don't know. I love getting out and seeing people. Like I love going hunting for video games. Like that's a big part of like my.
Wait, are you going to be in Fortnite?
No,
that's crazy.
You're hunting.
No.
Don't tell anyone. Terrible at building things. Oh no.
I'm not a hunter. I just like to go hunt. I don't.
I mean, if you like to go hunting, then that makes you a hunter. It's kind of like the whole thing when people are like, "I'm an aspiring musician." It's like, no, man, you made music. You're a musician. That's what this is.
I'm not in a real band. Yeah. That's great. I don't remember where I was going with that.
I don't know either. I ruined it.
That I would just No. You made it better. You made it better. I would just have a tough time. I don't know. I think I would end up picking the room with the games because I mean, still being able to communicate with people about the things that you love is like great. And but
because if it was just games, if it was just one of these things, then except for maybe social media, I think social media, unless that doesn't count YouTube, like if I can just still do this somehow. And it just be one of these things, I probably like, okay, I'll do the other thing. But since it's video games, TV, movies, and social media, that encompasses so much of everything. So like even going and doing things would be harder.
Yep.
But at least with the other things to go and do because like movie theaters wouldn't exist because nobody that can go outside can actually use them.
Man, the next question. Devilman's Crybaby says, now that we know Persona 5 Scrambled is going to be on the Switch in February, I'm going to ask an age-old question. Why won't Atlas just port Persona 5 to the Switch? Why do they hate us? I think they'll wait until after Shin Megami Tensei 5 is out, so it won't be overshadowed by a Persona 5 port.
I don't know. I don't know the legality behind that. I don't know how much of the game is like owned by Sony. I think that's the main thing that makes
some kind
it
of
a question
handshake
mark
deal
for
we
me.
just don't know about for sure, but seems to be there.
Well, it's interesting too because like we're starting to see like Persona 4 Golden finally came to Steam and not Switch. Like I don't. I feel like it's just a matter of time at some point, because I don't imagine people are still buying Persona 4 Golden on Vita. Like if it was on PlayStation 4, that'd be a different story. But yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say, AJ?
I was just saying, if it's not something like that, like if there's no like legal red tape around it, I think that it'll eventually happen. And maybe, yeah, it is the Shin Megami Tensei 5 thing that's causing that. But barring that, I think it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah,
maybe when Persona 6 comes out.
I think it'd be different too if we weren't, like I think the person that asked that question, was it Devilman Crybaby, the anime? Asked us the question. Sweet Netflix. I think they bring up a good point too with like Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming out. Like Persona 5 would just draw away more time from people that would be potentially buying that game. Like my girlfriend and I, we're really bad. We've been playing Persona 5 on PS4 for almost 2 years now.
I thought you were going to say since it came out. When did it come out? Like 2014 or something?
2017, right?
It's newer. It was somewhat, but
Persona 5. I think it was the same year as Breath of the Wild. Yeah, because it was up for.
Where it was like, oh, go ahead.
I think it was up against Breath of the Wild for Game of the Year, and they were like, "What?
No,
a turn-based
2016.
RPG."
It was 2016.
Oh,
it was okay.
Interesting. Oh, maybe it was it like December of 2016?
Because I remember it was like, oh, that's what it was. It was initially like confirmed for 2014, and then it got delayed, and then it got delayed again.
Not too surprising.
And I know the Game Awards does that weird thing too, where if it like comes out in December, like past the point, then they qualify it for the next year, right?
But it was in September, so I don't even know if that was
unless maybe
because usually
it wasn't a worldwide release. Oh, it was worldwide April 2017. That's what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of time. I don't know. I mean, especially since we have Joker in Smash, I don't know how much of it is like, or I would say is like falls on Sony's shoulders. But yeah, maybe there is like a private handshake that we just don't know about. Because that is kind of one of the best RPGs in recent years, and I bet Sony probably is doing everything they can to keep it on their platform. So much so that they even put it as one of the free PlayStation Plus titles, I think, with PS5. So they definitely treasure that game a lot, I guess. So
Shibby 120 brackets was a MySpace thing, which I just left in because I don't know, MySpace. Asks, I had this prediction back in March, and now there's more evidence. Do you think we will see a new Switch dock that offers better performance for the current Switch? How about a new Switch coming out next year, and they're making a new dock that will use its power more? What are some realistic things Nintendo can do to make Switch Online better, like things that actually switch, like things that actually Nintendo 2.0 would do but haven't?
Okay, so this is multiple questions.
It is multiple questions.
I think that there's a chance that they do like a souped up dock of some sort, because they do have that supplemental power patent. So maybe I don't know if that's something that they patented and they tried it and it's like, okay, this isn't really feasible for whatever reason. So maybe we won't see it, but it's possible.
I feel like I'm more on the fence that like Nintendo will release just different hardware itself, like a new Switch or something. Because I mean, it's been out long enough, and I don't like that Apple like releases a new phone every year, because then it makes me feel like I'm just using like a hunk of junk after a while, right. And I don't want Nintendo to go down that road. But I feel like that is just a matter of time what's going to happen, and because the Switch is such a impressive like idea that I don't really think they can do anything different that will wow us more than that, besides just better hardware down the road. And a lot of people complain too about, like at Nintendo Life now, we post photos of in our reviews of like docked and undocked footage. And I feel like, undocked is where, I mean, obviously where the game suffers the most, but where it can look really bad. It is where the games need the biggest boost. So, and if they did come out with some better dock, that wouldn't help that at all.
Right.
But it would be nice for people too that I guess already own Switches as well. So
yeah,
I think the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's less for the people. Like, I could see them do it not so much to make current games look better, and more so to make games that aren't possible. In the same way that like some games are handheld only, and now even there's some games that are like docked only.
Sure.
So maybe it's more so something like that rather than it being like something that's like, well, the weak side right now is handheld mode, which is definitely true. Like it's bottlenecked by handheld mode. But if they have the option to have more horsepower through the dock and also now through like cloud gaming and stuff like that, why not?
I think the thing, that would make me either they go that route, which I don't know. Either they go that route or they don't. And I forgot a little bit what I was going to say. No, the thing that makes me less confident about like a stronger dock or a dock that like upscales or whatever is the time switching between handheld and putting it in the dock. I kind of feel like it would take too much. Like, I don't know technology that well, but I don't know if the dock can be on standby like that at all times to be able to be like, oh, we're doing the things to be able to.
I mean,
like,
it depends
interact.
on what it is.
Maybe, yeah.
Because like, I mean, as far as like transfer rates and stuff like that, like if they use like freaking Thunderbolt 4 or 3, Thunderbolt 3 is USB 4. If they use that, I would imagine it's fast enough because it's like freaking 20 gigabytes per second or something.
Well, I'm more thinking like for the dock power up to like turn on and like do its thing, but like
but even that is the same thing. Like there's like fast charging, along the same lines, right? That's like supported through USB-C and all that crap. So that's like similar where you can charge your phone in 10 minutes from 0 to 100 in certain chargers and stuff like that. So it's possible. I don't know if they would do it because stuff like that would be expensive. Yeah, and that's not a Nintendo thing to do.
Yeah. There's something about it. Like I think every hole that can be poked can be filled by something kind of a thing, but something about the stronger dock thing just doesn't vibe right with me as far as it happening. If it did, cool, awesome. You know, like
I mean, if Nintendo didn't have the patent, I wouldn't believe it. But because they have looked into it and it's patented, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I remember too, one thing with like the Switch's UI is, you know, like you'll look at it and it's super fast. I think the eShop is not. I don't know what happened.
Oh yeah, it's not.
I feel like there was a time where the eShop was quick, and maybe I'm just crazy and I have wishful thinking memories.
For me, it feels like it's a precautionary tale, where it's like now everybody's like, oh, we need themes and we need to make it look pretty and stuff, and then the eShop has more of that, where it's like there's like even going into the eShop, it has like the load-in screen or whatever, like that sort of stuff. I think that's wise because it's not visually lean, so it takes a long time.
I think the eShop also pulls from like it continuously pulls from some HTML5 website server somewhere, something. So like that's an issue as well. Again, I don't know any technical things, but like that it's
it's not
however
native. It's from
exactly. So like
that was something else that people were talking about with the Switch Online app, where it seems that it is a native app now.
Interesting.
The eShop's not.
Yeah. Last bit of that one, and then we'll move into the last questions from Discord are, what are some realistic things Nintendo can do to make Switch Online better? Add more games.
Yeah, add more games. Add more of the... I mean, we made a whole video about it.
Take them away.
Very true. I'm still so curious what exactly they're gonna do on March 31st.
I'm gonna probably make another video about it. That's up to date.
Yeah,
we actually just it might not be out yet, but I think we have a video coming out tomorrow where Alex and John and I all discuss kind of March 31st, and most of us vent out a lot of frustrations, which I guess everybody should, right? There's not really like it's a bummer to be so bummed about everything that's happening, but yeah, so you can look forward to that. That's my plug.
Look forward to being sad.
That's coming out tomorrow for us. If so, then
if it's tomorrow, then it's available. YouTube.com/Nintendo Life.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Duh.
The final frontier. Nice. Well, there you go. Yeah, I think I'm so curious. But all right, let's get into the last questions. These are from Discord. Kushal asked, when do you think Super Mario Odyssey 2 will come out?
Wednesday.
At the Game Awards.
Yeah, right. Shadow Drop.
Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3. Hold up. What if Nintendo announced it though? What if they announced another game that they haven't even delivered the other ones yet at the Game Awards?
That'd be crazy.
It would be crazy. I mean, like that would be the most Game Awards move to do, I feel like. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I would have definitely said next year for Super Mario Odyssey 2, but like, it totally depends on if they do somehow Breath of the Wild towards the beginning of the year, like, then Super Mario Odyssey 2 for holiday. I could see
Yeah,
it,
like it's
but
a mirror. It's a
otherwise-
mirror. It's
yeah.
2017 again.
Exactly. But otherwise, I guess 2022, I still think it is when, not if, for Super Mario Odyssey 2, but.
Yeah. And it's interesting too that they didn't do more DLC with that game than I feel like a lot of us in the beginning really thought that was something that was for sure going to happen. And
something about Mario games. They don't want DLC in them, I guess.
Yeah.
Because freaking Mario Party, they should have put DLC in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Falcon asked, 2-part question. Number 1, or A, what did you think of the F-Zero special?
Did you guys see that?
Nope.
No.
Don't even know what it is.
A bunch of
Sorry.
F-Zero fans came together and they dubbed.
Oh, that was the
F-Zero.
thing that Falcon was the producer of or something?
Yep.
I need to watch
I think
that.
he did like some music and stuff for it.
Nice.
But yeah, I watched the premiere of it. It's dope.
Nice.
They should freaking dub that anime because a lot of people don't even know that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So was this like a Japanese only release? Because the only animated thing I remember is the
so there's two
on Fox
F-Zero anime. Yeah, there's two of them. There's two of them. One of them, there's like the Foxbox one, and there's like a Captain Falcon, and that's just who he is. He's just a dude. But in the Japanese one, Captain Falcon is like a title. And there's like multiple Captain Falcons. That's the one that they dubbed.
Oh,
episode
interesting. Okay.
For the
And so is that a
30th
full? Is it a full series or just like a
They
movie
just
or
dubbed
something,
one
or-
episode. They dubbed one episode, I think.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I will have to Falcon, I'll try to find that before you listen to this and watch it, but if not, link me and I will watch it.
It's probably pinned on his Twitter, I'd assume. If not, Falcon, you should probably
check that out too.
There you go. That's true. And question 2, every year Apple and Samsung release new phones anywhere between $399 and $799 roughly, and people rush to the stores to buy them. Why is there apprehension for when a pro version of a console is released like 3 years in?
Because phones are easier to justify.
Yeah, because you need a phone.
And sometimes us gamers are just cheap. It's just true. And it's such an investment. I mean, and you're right. Like what AJ said, like phones are, it feels like a necessity now, right? Like, which is, I want to say it's not, but I can't, like, if you took this thing away from me for a day, what am I going to do? Play games? Come on now.
I think, and it's a lot of it is because certain careers now are just not possible if you don't have a smartphone.
Yeah.
Like even this, I think will be harder. It's possible, but it's harder. Versus like, there's people that don't play games at all, so it's a lot easier to not see as like a necessity.
Right. It's like your leisure activity, I suppose. But for a lot of people, and even like you imagine telling like your partner or whatever, like, oh, I'm gonna go spend $500 on something that this person doesn't care about at all. I'm only going to use it. I'll try to get you to play things with me, and you probably won't, or you will. Maybe.
Yeah, like I'm gonna buy this thing that I'm gonna hold you hostage with. That you don't even want to play this stuff, but you're gonna have to.
I think the other big part is that it's normalized to pay it off over 2 years versus like that is possible for like Xbox consoles at this point. They've made that a thing, but it feels different about it. Like, oh, I'm going to pay this off over 2 years as opposed to a phone where it's like, well, I need one. So like, I'll just pay a little bit more for a while, trade this one in.
Incentivize you to upgrade. Like literally, I upgraded my phone this year because I could say like my bill is cut in half now because I upgraded my phone. So it's stuff like that. Like Nintendo's not like, if you buy a Nintendo swap, we'll give you $200. You know, like
Good question. Last one. Sardi asks, speaking of phones, with Microsoft's All Access program, they're uniquely situated to offer subsidized upgrades every few years. What could this look like? Do you have a guess on when mid-gen would be for refreshes?
I think that for the people, it's going to be like the jump plans and stuff like that. When they're like, "Hey, this new console's here. You're already paying on the thing. You want to freaking just give us the other console and then get the new console and then just restart the plan instead of having the Xbox Series whatever that you paid off. Now you start on the next thing, you know." And then if that works, I could see PlayStation do it. I don't know if Nintendo would do that though.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nintendo has the infrastructure to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 4 years in seems like, I'm totally guessing. You know, who knows what the landscape looks like in 4 years, but except for me, I know. 4 years in.
You do. I mean,
and
there's already rumors
a
about the
little bit
PS5
too.
Pro. What are you saying?
Oh, yeah, that was trending right on Twitter the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like people are like PS5 Pro is gonna have 2 GPUs. Beat that, Xbox.
Someday. I was just gonna say about like the 3DS, how we got the new 3DS, but they didn't really like take advantage of that, and and some of the games needed it, like I think Hyrule Warriors, Legends,
I think
or whatever
Hyrule
it was
Warriors,
called, and Xenoblade
I think
Chronicles
it played on
were the
3DS,
only-
but it was garbage on regular 3DS. Xenoblade Chronicles, required it, and then it was like Super Nintendo games,
Monster Hunter and Minecraft.
You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember wanting to play Earthbound on my like classic 3DS, and I couldn't.
And they're like,
Nintendo.
no.
So yeah. I was at the time too. This is really like random, but Nintendo sent me like a few codes when I was writing for Zelda Dungeon. They sent me like a code for Pokemon Crystal and like Super Mario World and something else. And I tried to download Mario World and I couldn't I couldn't play it or whatever because I just had an old 3DS. I was like, this is dumb. And I think I learned the hard way that was a problem. But
I'm impulsive, so I never actually ran into that, but I paid attention during the Nintendo Direct when they said it's that it's exclusive to the, which was weird because like people were mad unanimously for that because it's like people that didn't buy are like, I want a reason to buy this thing, and people that bought it is like, I want validation for the fact that I bought this thing. Give me more exclusive games or whatever.
Yeah, that's tricky.
And it's weird too to juggle that, especially too. Like if Nintendo were to come out with more games that you can only play on a Pro model later down the road, how do they handle that? Because you already see that a little bit with like Switch Lite games, where there's things that can only be played in handheld mode or not handheld.
You gotta have like with Joy-Cons or something.
Yeah, exactly. So now you have to buy Joy-Cons for your Switch Lite, or you can only play like Ring Fit Adventure. I don't know anyone who's gonna play that on a Switch Lite. And props to you if you do. My eyes would probably fall out of my face if I tried that. But yeah, you just it would be that, but much worse. And I don't know how they'd go about it, but.
And it's almost like at that point, if you're going to buy a Joy-Con with your Switch Lite, you might as well just buy a Switch because you're paying what $270 like, $30 more for a whole dock and a console that's battery is like 3 hours longer or something. Like
it's crazy. But what's really crazy is this podcast. Man, we had a great time. This is the end, It is. Xeon, anything you want to tell the people before we close out?
Just thanks for listening in. This is fun. I don't get to do podcasts very often because I work all the time, and usually so when I'm done with work, I usually don't want to go talk more about games. But it was so nice to be on chatting with you guys in specific, and let your audience hear our insane discussion. And so no, this is a great time.
We gotta do more stuff. We gotta do more stuff. I need to collaborate with more people. Because I'm always working with Bob. I'm tired of Bob.
It's so
Get
hard.
him out of here.
I think the thing, like we've said too, I feel like it's really different collaborating with somebody where it's just like, hey, you want to do this thing in this video, and then you don't really get to like know each other very well with that. Whereas with the podcast, it's like you're talking for 2 or 3 hours at that point, so like you get to know people. But not everybody's available at this time on a Friday or whatever it is. So it's good that we were able to get it.
So we got to play it in advance. Let's play it in advance again.
This is good. Yeah, especially too now, like we were saying before, like events aren't a thing. So you can't like, I remember you, Park, you went to, was it PAX this year or was that last year? Yeah,
Yep,
and
yep.
like I was supposed to go to GDC and then it got canceled. But now I'm like, I wish I would have went to PAX instead because it would have been like the last hurrah, you know.
Yeah.
And but eventually the world will be better and things like that will
They're trying to
will
have PAX
happen.
in
And
June
Yep, I saw that.
oh
next
no,
year.
that's
But
right.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully if the world isn't better, which I mean, I personally do think that like that's really a stretch.
Yeah,
but
same.
But at least they're trying, right? I guess we'll see what happens.
Because I think like legally they might be able to do that, but I don't know if like people that are smart are going
Right.
to go. Like, so like I don't know if I want to do that. But
Honestly, what I could see work out better is do not PAX, do way smaller and have it just do like a media only thing where media pays to go there, but it's way smaller. So their costs are a lot lower, but then like there's, lower risk of things happening or whatever. Cause like, it's a more controlled environment that way.
yeah, it's not.
I feel like
60,000 people or whatever. Like,
Right.
Right. Well, the tough thing too with like that is like, who do you get to pick and choose who goes? And because I mean,
Yeah.
I never went to E3. Well, I went to E3 one year when it was media only, and it was still like so many people there. And I imagine people that don't get to go to these things would be very upset. Realistically, I don't blame them. But yeah, I just miss the good world. But I'm glad that we're still able to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
yeah, thanks for bringing me on. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Anytime.
You bet.
Good
Let's talk about it. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
have me
That's
on
the
enough
end.
so that way you get tired of me. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down. I love being tired of Bob.
All right, everybody. That's it. Bye, folks. Or something.
Bye.
Go watch all of our videos, please.
True.
When you're done.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes.